uh, what American media is covering is not doing it justice. It's incredibly horrible.
Did you see the video of the Israeli TV news anchor, the woman?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. She just laid it out. And she was speaking in Arabic, and she switched to speak English so that Western world could get the translation, if you know what I mean.
I'm going to watch it right now.
It's not emotional. Well, it is emotional, but it's very methodical. And she just states over and over again, this is what's going on. Just so you know, you get the full picture of what's going on. And she very quietly says, we will fight this to our death. She all but said, we're a lot like America. We got a lot of differences. We got a lot of issues. But on this one, we'll come together. We'll fight this one to the end. It was very powerful. I can't watch much of it. I don't need that much horror in my life.
I haven't watched any of it. I mean, I'm obviously aware of what's going on, but nothing I can do to change it.
Totally.
You know me in the news. We don't know one another.
It's my greatest contribution to your life.
You've no idea. My wife doesn't watch it. I don't watch it. We got enough crap to do in our lives. My mother tells me how horrible everything is.
Exactly. There's always somebody in the family who's watching every second of it. Great. My wife, oh my God, all over the place. Last night, trying to go to sleep. Hey, do you know? Yeah. I need 6 hours sleep. Leave me alone.
It's a condo association president you can go talk to about it.
Right. I'm tired of the huge Powerballs being won by somebody in California. Because I think like 3 of the 4 biggest Powerballs have been won by one group or one person in California. I'm a little tired of that. How about a school teacher in Idaho? How about a potato farmer in Kentucky?
How about
come on,
switch that potato farmer in Idaho and a school teacher in Kentucky?
You're probably right there. I'm on a roll.
Belushi, you are going the last couple of days here. You've been on a roll.
Yep, Belushi. That's true.
Just watched it. Everything she said was true.
Yeah, it's undeniable.
Yep. Also, David, those people in California need that Powerball. I'm sorry, I'm pissed off too, but man, they need it more than anyone in the United States.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Depends on your perspective.
I mean, well, that's true.
We couldn't spread that out. We couldn't have 2, 3. I mean, it was 1.75 billion.
That's a good point. If you're rich in paradise, it's not fair.
I mean, if 3 people win it, it's around 600 million each with taxes. I mean, everybody's still walking away with about 250.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you, and neither one of us won the Powerball. This show has to continue. How the heck are you? We are Miller and Moulton. This is the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing great, David. Good night's sleep, ready to go. Watched a little baseball yesterday, watched a little hockey. Seems that people are watching hockey the first 2 days.
Yes.
Phenom.
Yeah.
Bernard getting a little airtime on both ESPN and TNT, and people are watching, David.
Certainly by NHL standards, they are. Right. Which is good. Once again, Mark, what is the only thing that people are watching on television?
Sports, David.
Thank you, Mark. Now back to regularly scheduled programming, which no one is watching, already in progress. Yes. So what was it? The highest rate, the opener against the Penguins, the highest rated game on cable that wasn't like a January 1st, special or a playoff game, right?
No, I think including the outdoor, if I read it right. Oh, no, excluding I'm sorry. I misread it. Yeah, you're right. Most watched game on cable, excluding Winter Classics.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, and good. And he scored last night. They lost, but nobody cares. Everybody knows the Blackhawks aren't going to be good. They just want to see whether or not this is the next big thing. It's Austin Matthews. He's in Toronto. Connor McDavid, he's in Edmonton. Let's face it. The NHL wouldn't mind the next superstar to be playing in the States. Let's be brutally honest. Wouldn't mind him to be playing in the States. And on a small market team, too, like Chicago. So, hopefully this kid is half of the hype. And if so, that'll be good for him and the franchise and the league. Listen, the one thing you didn't mention that I knew you were doing yesterday, and you were wearing your version of Tampa Bay Bucs creamsicle. How'd you golf?
So I don't know if you're aware, but Bryce Harper seems to be just killing the ball right now for the Phillies.
Better than you were killing it off the tee? Is that what you were saying?
I suck. Can we talk about anything else?
Fine. No, that's fine. I just, you're in great spirits, though.
I am in great spirits. I don't, those 4 hours, I try to have as much fun as I can. I don't worry about that I'm not good right now, that there's something wrong with my game and I can't fix it. I need lessons. I need help, David. I need a sports psychologist. I need a lot.
Wow. Okay? Wow. Is there something wrong that you're playing the game? Is that?
No, because I love playing it. And when I hit good shots, it excites me. It makes me feel proud. And the feeling of a good golf shot is like nothing else that I can do individually. I like it better. It's like a great segment on this show when you hit a great shot. Like, hey, we just accomplished something. But I haven't, and I still do that once in a while. It's that the regularity of it has ceased to exist. So, kind of like the Atlanta Braves.
I was just going to say, kind of like the Twins and the Dodgers.
Right.
All right. Last night. So it's the second year in a row the Dodgers win 100-plus games in the regular season and lose the first playoff series that they play. And so the question now needs to be asked, is that just baseball? It's just baseball. Mark makes fun of me. All right. We had the long discussion many, many years ago about a, quote, short series. What is the definition of a short series?
A best of 5 is a short series.
Okay. And so the Dodgers have lost a couple of short series back to back. And so is that just, hey, anything can happen in a short series? Baseball and hockey are the two in which pitching and a goalie can dramatically alter the outcome of a short series. The one thing that seems to be happening this year is the teams who had layoffs are not hitting the way they were hitting during the regular season. Okay, even the Astros, okay, are not scoring runs with the regularity. They had a big game 3, but game 2, they only had 2 runs. Even last night, 3 runs on like 6 hits. It was enough to win. But, the Dodgers scored 2 runs in all 3 games, Mark, against the Diamondbacks. The Braves shut out in game 1, 2 runs yesterday, and they were weak. 1 early, 1 late. And this is the best lineup that we've seen since the 75 Reds and the 27 Yankees, etc. And it's not like Aaron Nola is not Kurt Schilling in his prime, if you know what I mean. I mean, he's a solid pitcher. He's a good pitcher. But I mean, they also got shut down by Ranger Suarez in game 1. So that's what people are wondering. Is the layoff affecting actually the hitting for some of these teams more than anything?
You can make that case because they're not scoring runs. They're also putting their teams by the pitching have been in a bind. They've been down in every game. I mean, Kershaw gave up the big first inning, but it hasn't been. And you look at these games, Philly had a big third last night. I mean, the pitchers for the opposition can't get through any time to give their team an opportunity to get a lead. They're playing from behind, which makes it much harder to hit, puts a lot more pressure on the batters. They're trying to make something happen. They're swinging at more pitches. And that's what I'm seeing when I'm watching, David, is that they put themselves in a bind because they're very rarely getting a lead in any of these games. And if they are, it's 1-0. And that's not a crooked number to get you going.
Good point, Mark. Phillies with 6 in the third yesterday. Diamondbacks with 4 in the third. By the way,
David.
4 solo homers.
4 solo homers. Never been done before. And they had 6 in the first against Kershaw. They had 4, I think, in the third in the game 2.
And 4 in the third last night.
3 in the first last night and 4 in the third last night.
Yeah.
So they've jumped up Arizona. And Dave Roberts said it after the game. He said, you talk about what you want. We didn't get it done. But if this was a 7-game series, we're still down 3-0.
Right.
They've outplayed us in every part of the game.
But it's also the second year in a row that the 6th seed in the National League is in the league championship series. The 86-win Phillies from last year, and now the 84-win Diamondbacks. Could that have been the 84-win Marlins, by the way, if not for a tiebreaker? We spent the final 2 weeks of the regular season hoping the Marlins could sneak in as the 6. They ended up winning the tiebreaker with Arizona, so they were the 5, so they drew the Phillies. What if the Marlins had been the 6? Would this be different? Going through Milwaukee and then the wounded Dodgers? Never know. You never know. But that's what I think they'll be talking about. If nothing else, Mark, does this lead to reseeding?
I would hope so. I mean, that would be a simple fix to appease those that think the system's wrong. Doing everything you can to ensure that the best team has the best opportunity to get out of each round of the playoffs. That's why you play 162 games. That's a little cliche, but I mean, come on. If you're playing the whole season, shouldn't you reward the best team?
It does seem overly simplistic to say, shouldn't the number 1 overall seed play the worst team that advanced in the next round? I mean, last year, the 100 whatever win Dodgers had to play the 90-something win Padres because the Padres were the 5. And they beat the 4th-seeded Mets. While the 86-win Phillies, once they got past the Cardinals, then they got the Braves. So it's the second year in a row that the Braves have gotten the 6th seed. And it turns out that last year they got, anyway. You know what I'm saying. Should the ones, like in football, okay, they reseed after the first round, 2-7, 3-6, 4-5. And the quote-unquote worst team that advances, that's who the 1 seed coming off the bye plays. They don't do that in baseball. But at the end of the day, The 90-win Texas Rangers went 5-0 against the 99 and 101 win Rays and Orioles. And the 84-win Diamondbacks just went 5-0 against the 92 and 100 win Brewers and Dodgers. I mean, there's no ambiguity there. 5-0 is 5-0.
Right after the Dodgers just owned Arizona for the entire regular season.
So it'll be interesting to see if Major League Baseball does something. And let's face it, Mark, will bad ratings be the spur more than competitive balance? I mean, look at what Fox is facing. It's an all-Texas ALCS. Don't know who they're rooting for there. I mean, do you root for the guys in the black hats in Houston?
I would think so.
Just because they're a known commodity and the defending World Series champions?
They're a known commodity, and people will come out to root against them. Texas has no loyalty one way or another, David. We're at least familiar with the Houston players.
And clearly, Fox is rooting for whoever wins the Phillies-Braves series to move on.
And this is where I do find interesting, because I think the Phillies are probably a bigger number than the Braves.
Well, I got to say, people are liking this Bryce Harper guy. He's got personality.
Yes, he does.
To date ourselves, Mark, remember there was a band in the 70s and 80s. Their front man was David Lee Roth. And when he put out a solo album, he did a video, which he looked right into the camera, and he said, "I've got charisma." And Bryce Harper's got charisma.
Yes, he does.
And don't forget, perfect hair.
Huh.
Well, part of the charisma, Felipe. You got to have the look. He's got the look. He's got the attitude. He gives great post game. He plays very hard.
His uniform's always dirty at the
Absolutely.
end of the night.
That's a baseball player right there.
Listen, I don't want to say he's playing well, but he signed one of those 13-year, $350 million contracts, and everybody thinks he's underpaid.
And they pounded the Braves last night, 2-1 up in the series, looking to take down the Atlanta Braves, which means 1-2 would go out in the National League. Great show lined up for you today. We'll talk football and fantasy football right here. Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. Budget Floors. Southwest Florida's leader in affordable flooring is ready for your home renovation project. At Budget Floors, our professional team of flooring experts are...
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Now, Ambient, remember the Bears were going to get destroyed, okay, by the Commanders last Thursday. KW, but it is pouring here in Jacksonville. I mean, sheets of rain this morning. So I hope some of it can get to you.
It was humid and raining this morning. It's supposed to be like 60 on Monday or something like that. Can't wait.
First off, Adam, all is not lost. I mean, you're sending the Majors' only 20-game winner to the hill tonight, who pitched really well. They gave it 1 run in 7 innings in game 1.
I love it when I share gambling information with people, of people that they like. Like I have a guy who loves Bud, thinks Bud's the smartest guy in the world.
Right.
Well, I share that with them. They don't come close to winning, and I'm getting text. Like, you didn't have to bet, bro.
Yeah, and you want the info. We gave you the info. It's called gambling. By the way, Brown Chick, it's real simple. He quit. Back to you in the studio. As to why, no idea. We don't work for them. They just carry our show. So don't really care. Wish everybody the best. And I do mean that because it's an awful business. It's really hard to make it in this business.
Let alone to make any money.
Right. So never met him. You know, by all accounts, good dude. But, you know, whatever's going on. The one thing I will say about us, you know, we've been pretty open over the years with our audience. We've always felt that you guys are owed that. That you give us what you give us and that we owe you the truth. We owe you the story. So it sounds like they haven't addressed it on their show. And that I think is a mistake. I think you owe the audience what's going on. But Yeah, KW, I've seen it as high as 10.5 this morning. Yeah. Kelsey's questionable. Did you see his quote? When asked if he's going to, I think his brother asked him, I think it was on the podcast, you going to play? He goes, I don't know. Why? He goes, because I'm old as blank. That's funny, Adam.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Roy Cummings, talk about the Tampa Bay Bucs. That's your first place, Tampa Bay Bucs. Thank you very much. With another chance against one of the better teams in the NFC. They didn't handle that chance real well 2 weeks ago against the Eagles. Do they handle it better now against the Lions? And how strange is that to talk about one of the better teams in the NFC and say that that team is the Detroit Lions?
I just like the battle of first place teams between your Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions.
There you go. There you go. 4 first place teams in the NFC, and 2 of them are playing at Ray J Sunday afternoon. Why do I sound like I'm doing a WWE card all of a sudden?
That's all right. Or a promo on Westwood One. Anything.
Brought to you by Ritz Lunchables.
Eat them or die. And if you don't know what we're talking about, wait till March Madness and you'll hear his voice again.
Exactly. Or listen to Monday Night Football on Westwood One, or we will come find you and harm you. So if I were to ask this question of you, and I know you're not a Lions fan, but I'm thinking this, we got 19 days to the NFL trade deadline.
I am a carrier. I mean, I'm not a Lions fan, but I do carry the gene.
Okay. Do you think there's when the Cowboys and Jimmy Johnson thought they were close, they went and gave up a good draft choice for Charles Haley. They're like, we need a difference maker on defense. We don't have a pass rusher. And they thought that bringing in Charles Haley was a big reason why they took the next step. They had won 11 games in 91, won a playoff game, but they challenged the Niners. They felt they needed more. And so, ironically, they took Charles Haley off the Niners' hands and won the next 2 Super Bowls. And I'm just, right now, you've got the Niners and the Eagles. Is there a team in the NFC and a player out there that if you said, if they went and got this guy, I actually think they could give those guys a game? Because to me, when I look at the Lions, I'm thinking, should they call the Rams about Aaron Donald?
These 2 teams aren't afraid to trade with one another, obviously.
Obviously, correct. And, I mean, think about, I don't know how you think you're going to make it in the NFC in the next couple years if you can't defend the run. I mean, the Niners and the Eagles will just sledgehammer the out of you. I mean, neither team's afraid of running it 40 times. You can't stop the run. They'll just keep running. Even though we all know the weapons both teams have, but that running game's working. They're just like, hell, we'll just keep doing it. I mean, don't you have to? Like, it's why, Tampa's not in the same class as either team, but this is where, having a Vita Vea is a nice thing to have. You're going to have a chance against these guys. You need big dudes in the middle.
Spitz in our Twitch chat room typed what I was thinking. Ndamukong Suh's still out there. It would be ironic for him to go back to Detroit. But Detroit's the 3rd best team against the rush in the league. The only 2 teams that are better than Detroit against the rush are Philadelphia and San Francisco. All three teams are allowing less than 70 yards per game rushing.
Now, how much of it, though, look at who Detroit has played. How much of this do you think is skewed? Because, they've played a couple bad teams. I mean, they have. You can only play who the NFL puts in front of you. Now they beat Kansas City, though, obviously. They lost in overtime to Seattle. So that's just showing it out.
All I'm saying is that I don't know if, and look, Donald helps multiple factors, not just your run defense. He helps your pass defense because now you've got Hutchinson. You'd have someone in the middle. I wouldn't say no. My only thought is, do they need to go find a corner?
Okay.
More so. That's
all right. Fair enough.
Where's their Jalen Ramsey, if you know what I mean?
Gotcha. And that's fair. Because I'm thinking, and remember the Rams 2 years ago. Now they picked up Odell Beckham off the street. Usually an impact player like that is not available off the street. But they gave up a second and a third round pick to rent 10 games of Von Miller. I mean, they gave up a 2 and a 3 in the same draft, by the way, for 10 games in a playoff run of Von Miller. And I'm just wondering, is there a team out there that you look at and you go, they need to make the Charles Haley trade. They need to make the Von Miller trade. They need to go get this guy. They get this guy. Now it's a different story. That's I'm just wondering. And football's different. I get it. There's more guys, and one guy is not as impactful. But I mean, look at how we view the Niners after they made the McCaffrey trade. I mean, when they made the trade at the time, did we think that the Niners were going to turn into what they are? Did we go, oh, well, they're going to be unstoppable now? I know. I think we thought it was it's a good acquisition, makes them better. But now, I mean, if they're healthy.
I think that's look, it's that way with everybody, but particularly San Francisco, because they've been banged up. McCaffrey's been banged up. Deebo Samuel's been banged up. I mean, you have guys that have had games lost to injury in a significant way. Not that any team could sustain injuries to their star players, but they've had them in San Francisco.
Last year, the Eagles' star players stayed healthy. Knock on wood, they'll stay healthy again. So far this year, San Francisco's star players have stayed healthy. McCaffrey, by the way, on pace for 408 touches. That's a lot.
Man, is that a lot.
It's 24 touches a game, 20 carries a game, and 4 receptions a game. They're going to have to – that's like a pitcher, and all of a sudden you're looking at their innings going, we got to start giving him extra days off. We got to start taking him out in the 6th. We got to lower this workload here. Just saying. All right.
Just saying, with those numbers, he better be an MVP candidate.
Well, and the other thing is that if they just ride McCaffrey throughout the year, it will probably shorten his career, but maybe they win the ultimate prize and he and they would probably make that trade. But I'm just wondering if there's a player and a team in which you're like, I got to admit, like the Dolphins. I mean, people are mixed on the Dolphins. Oh, they're fun, they're cute, they'll make the playoffs, they'll lose early. And some are like, I actually think, this might be the only team that could take down the Chiefs. Oh, okay. But
gotta say, a Miami San Francisco Super Bowl would be a lot of fun to watch.
I will say, Mike McDaniel Super Bowl week, he could turn into a star.
You're on to something there, because he is a very interesting dude.
Yep. If he would just be himself for Super Bowl week, oh man, he'd own it. But I'm just wondering, I don't know if that thing is possible. I mean, I'm referencing a 1992 trade and a 2021 trade. I mean, this stuff doesn't happen very often in the NFL, but I'm just wondering, is there a team and a guy in which you go, they made this happen?
They could make it happen?
Well,
is that what you're saying?
And not necessarily have to wait until a Saturday night either. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Doesn't sound all bad. Miller and Moulton. The starting five is next right here on the Florida Sports Network.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Budget Floors. Southwest Florida's leader in affordable flooring is ready for the fall elimination run.
They've got Williams, the other guy that was suspended. I don't know if they'll go for a Devontae Adams. I don't know if that fits that team. They've got a one. St. Brown's a one. Thank you for sending that, Felipe. It's not good when my stomach's growling hard at 6:30 in the morning.
That is not good.
Black coffee.
Lots of it.
Yeah.
Hopefully that kicks in by 7. Well, after he got 4 targets Monday, I'm sure he was really happy with that.
Yeah, he's a little nuts, Wancho. That's not an easy contract to trade, man.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
It is 22 minutes before the hour. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Roy Cummings to talk about the Bucs Sunday late afternoon game against the Lions, coming off their bye. Alex Golesh, the South Florida football coach. Bulls defense got boat raced on Saturday by UAB. Team's having a pretty good season, however, based on past few years. Talk to him about where they are at the midway point.
Well, they played somebody with a reasonable offense. I mean, unlike their previous games, like Alabama.
Right. No, I understand.
I mean, they played an Alabama team with an offense.
Right. That's Alabama Birmingham. Correct. So we'll talk to Alex Golesh. And we're a couple hours away from those of you whose fantasy football team is in shambles or just needing a tweak. You know, which is it? Where are you? Or are you just flying high? So Dr. Roto will join us 2 hours from now to answer your fantasy football questions. Don't send them in now. All right, don't text them in now. We'll lose them in all the texts around it. Wait, hold off. Wait till the 8 o'clock hour. We're not going to wait any longer. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
Well, second year in a row, LA Dodgers, we hardly knew you. That's the MLB playoffs talking. Diamondbacks sweep the Dodgers. 4-2 the final. Dodgers scored 2 runs in all 3 losses. The Diamondbacks, we had said yesterday, the Dodgers are turning to Lance Lynn to save their season. And Lance has given up more home runs than any pitcher in the majors. Well, he decided to combine all of that in 1/2 inning, where he gave up not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 solo homers, all in the 3rd inning. And that was pretty much it. Bada bing, bada boom. 10 o'clock. Call it a night. 4-2 Diamondbacks. They advance to the LCS for the first time since 2007. They won 84 games in the regular season. They swept the Brewers, and now they swept the Dodgers. 2 division champions. You got to love the playoffs, don't you? Meanwhile, who will they face? Well, right now, Edge Phillies. They're up 2-1 on the Braves. 10-2 the final in Game 3. That was a 6 spot in the 3rd inning for the Phillies, who hit 6 home runs. Thank you very much. Bryce Harper with 2 of them. Apparently, word got out that after the Braves won Game 2 and Harper got doubled off to end the game, and there was some talk in the Braves clubhouse in which they were making fun of Harper. And that word got out. So,
did you see the stare down he gave after the home run?
Well, the guy who supposedly was making fun of him was the Braves shortstop, and well, Harper made sure when he got to second base both times that he just glared right at him as he was trotting around the bases. I will say, his personality does match the city in which he plays in, doesn't it?
Perfectly.
Remember, he chose them. He said, this is where I want to play. This is a guy from Vegas who was playing for the Nats. And yet, for whatever reason, he's like, this is where I want to play. And I want a 13-year contract that's no trade. They can't get rid of me. I don't care. And I'll take less money. I know it's a huge contract, but I'll take less per year because he's, quote unquote, only making $25 million a year. I know. We'd all get by. But when you think about it, I mean, he is a star. I mean,
He's underpaid. He is vastly underpaid for what that sport pays their stars, David.
So he took a longer deal, less per year, and he insisted, no, you can't get rid of me. This is where I want to be. When I go to the Hall of Fame, I want to go wearing a Phillies jersey. You got it? Well, 10-2 Phillies. Game 4. It's the only baseball game tonight, by the way. All the other series are over. 8 o'clock tonight. Braves try to save their season with the only 20-game winner in baseball, Spencer Strider. He pitched well in Game 1, gave up 1 run in 7 innings. Problem was Ranger Suarez and the Phillies bullpen held the Braves to zip, zilch, nada. Strider against Suarez, 8 o'clock tonight, TBS. Braves are a big favorite, by the way. You can get the Phillies in like plus 150, 160. You got to jump on that, don't you?
David, with baseball, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm just saying. I mean, how confident are you? Yes, they have the pitching matchup, and I would like to think that if Strider starts twice in this series, that the Braves win one of his 2 starts. I mean, if you had told me before the series that, how many times will the Braves win when Strider pitches, I'd say, well, at least once. I mean, he's going against Ranger Suarez both times, but we'll see. Houston eliminated the Twins and advanced to the LCS again. 3-2 the final. They held the Twins to 3 hits. Jose Abreu, who hit 2 homers in Game 3, hit the deciding 2-run homer in the 4th inning to break a 1-1 tie in Game 4. Astros bullpen was lights out. 3 1/3 innings, 1 base runner. It's an all-Texas LCS. It's Dallas against Houston. Man, Houston may be the more established Major League Baseball team, but in terms of cities, that is big brother, little brother. That is Michigan State.
And little brother's taller.
Right.
But he can't beat up the big brother. You think about it, Houston's a much bigger city than Dallas.
And their baseball team with obviously they've won 2 World Series. The Rangers haven't won any. Right. And yet little brother, and this is the grandest stage they've ever played on. This is all that little brother has accomplished. But if he doesn't beat big brother in the LCS, those family dinners are going to be awkward. Awkward. Game 1 not till Sunday, by the way. And the Astros, in a sense, they didn't catch a break. They made their own break. Remember, they didn't have to pitch Verlander a second time in this series. So the old guy gets a few extra days of rest before Game 1 in Houston. Best of 7, by the way, Sunday. ALCS will be on the Fox family of networks. One other baseball note. So it turns out, Mark, that the Yankees have been having a whole bunch of meetings in Tampa. And 15 team officials have apparently taken part in these meetings. Man.
It's a lot of team officials, David.
And it's obviously a lot of meetings. Either that or a really big room. Apparently they've met for days. What the hell do you have to discuss? I mean, we could sum this up I could sum this up in 5 paragraphs. I could name that tune in 4 notes. How old is that reference, by the way? So anyway, Hal Steinbrenner said, there will be changes. But when asked, big changes? He wouldn't commit to that. Yeah, somehow I don't think firing 2 analytic geeks is going to suffice. But it's your team, Hal. Do whatever you want. Keep charging $14 for those Heinekens. WNBA Finals, this was supposed to be the greatest series in league history. 2 juggernaut teams, New York and Las Vegas. Vegas, the defending champs. New York had beaten them twice in the regular season. Yeah, Vegas has spanked the Liberty twice. They won by 28 last night. They're up 2 spit, trying to repeat. Hockey, day 2, 6 games in the league. Connor Bedard in Chicago lost in Boston 3-1, but he scored. And basically that's all that matters with that franchise this year. How's the kid doing?
He looks like he's 12. No. I mean, he has a baby face.
Yes, he does. For a teen, he looks young. Yes.
I mean, he's getting carded at 25. He just has that face.
So Boston 3-1 over Bedard in Chicago. Shootout in Toronto. Leafs beat the Canadiens 6-5. Carolina over Ottawa 5-3. Calgary over Winnipeg by the same score. Mark, your Edmonton Oilers. And I say your Edmonton Oilers just because, you think they're going to go far. You actually picked Colorado to win the cup. Brock Boeser for Vancouver scored 4 goals on opening night. 4 goals in the first game of the year. What do you do after that? He might not score 4 goals the rest of the month. Vancouver 8-1 over Edmonton. How about that way to start your season? Getting drilled 8-1. And Colorado, Mark's Colorado Avalanche, beat the LA Kings 5-2. College football last night, Bud Elliott.
Bad night for Bud Elliott.
Bad night for Bud. It happens. He's between 58 and 62%, but last night he was 0 for 2. He said, take FIU, lay the points. UTEP beat him 27-14.
And that was a private chat to the 2 of us, not on air. I got a little something going on.
Yeah, and then he did say publicly, his upset special, that winless Sam Houston was going to go and beat New Mexico State. No, they're winless for a reason. They lost 27-13. 2 college football games tonight. West Virginia, Houston, 7 o'clock on FS1. SMU, East Carolina, 7:30 on ESPN. But the big football game tonight, it's the National Football League. The Denver Broncos have lost 15 consecutive games to the Kansas City Chiefs. You know when was the last time Denver beat the Chiefs? Peyton Manning was the quarterback. It was September of 2015. And I don't know if you remember, I think it was a Monday night. Maybe it was a Thursday, but it was a primetime game. The Chiefs were up late. Denver scores a touchdown with 30 seconds to go to tie it. And then Jamal Charles fumbles with under 30 seconds to go. And it's a scoop and score for the Broncos. They scored 2 touchdowns in the final 40 seconds of the game to come from behind and win. And they've lost 15 consecutive games since.
It'll be 16 after tonight.
But will the Chiefs cover? Let's face it, that's the big question. The spread is 10.5 or 11, depending on where you turn. The over-under is 47. So do some quick math, and you're looking at around 28-17, 29-18. That's where Vegas, sees it. One other note, and it happened, I think, right after our show yesterday, but Achane put on injured reserve. Anthony Richardson was put on injured reserve during our show yesterday. But Achane, who's second in the NFL in rushing at over 90 yards a game, he is going to miss at least the next 4 games. The soonest he is eligible to return for the Dolphins is week 11, which is after their bye against the Raiders. So he will miss the big games against the Eagles and the Chiefs, by the way. Achane will. And that'll hurt. There's no doubt about that. That'll hurt. Dolphins' last 3 games are averaging 230 yards rushing a game. I mean, McDaniel did
busting off a long run each game. I mean,
yep, that's true. That's true. But still, even take the long run away, they're still averaging about $150 to $170 a game. McDaniel did say, hey, I screwed up last year. We need to run the ball more. That's on me. I'll give him credit. Did a little self-scouting. He's running the ball more and more effectively. Good for him in that.
Oh, they ran it pretty effectively. If you look at the yards per carry a year ago.
Yeah, 4.7, I think it was. That's why he said, man, I screwed up. We should have run the ball more. So Achane on IR. And at 8 minutes before the hour, that was
the Starting 5 every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
Kelsey is questionable with an ankle injury. Remember, he missed part of the game against Minnesota, came back. He's only averaging like 8-9 yards a catch, by the way. This is not, he's not running down seams and catching 18-yard passes anymore. I mean, Travis Kelce's become the safety net guy. 3rd and 4, 7 yards and a first down. I mean, he's a weapon, but he's not a big play weapon anymore, or at least not this year. But let's just say Kelce doesn't play tonight. You think this game, you take Travis Kelce off this offense, it's Mahomes throwing a who and Pacheco running the ball. This could be a rock fight if Kelce doesn't play.
Well, it could be, but Denver can't stop anything.
Well, there is that.
So they've got to figure out how to stop a team, period, let alone stop the Chiefs. Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District. Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
All right, poll question. What are we thinking? Come on, everybody. What do we got? If it's a choice between MLB playoffs and NHL, what would you watch? What was the non-sports question we were kicking around yesterday?
I don't know, but since it's National Gumbo Day, I would go gumbo, chili,
soup.
I was thinking of the stew category, but I'm trying to think if there's another one in there. But sports-wise, is there a Bucs question out there?
National Pulled Pork Day today?
It's not on my calendar. That's weird. And I had to look it up. It is National Pulled Pork Day today.
We could ask, did you take the Chiefs and lay the 11 or take Denver plus 11? In fact, we should put in the question, since you can't bet legally in Florida,
just sucks.
we could ask people if you had your choice, which would you prefer? Betting now with only one option, wait a year and have many options.
The only food, and I like that question.
Okay. We could wait till maybe the day we have
Tuesday with Wallach. That's exactly what I was thinking, David.
Okay.
Since it is National Pulled Pork Day, pulled pork, ribs, or brisket.
Look at you. Look at you. Pulled pork, ribs, or brisket. Wow. That's tough.
Mr. Boutte with a nice question. What would you rather have legal? Recreational weed or legalized gambling?
Wow, that is a good question. No, Ryan, we're not adding smoked wings. No. Gave you enough choices. How much more do we have to water your mouth? than pulled pork, brisket, or ribs. You need wings added to that? You're just being greedy. Although I have to admit it. Sounds good. If you thought Mark's stomach was growling before this question. So is that our question?
Sure.
Let's do it. And by let's do it, I mean you.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Thanks so much for being with us. Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Roy Cummings to join us in a little more than 35 minutes. He covers the Bucs. They got a nice little measuring stick game this Sunday. Can they measure up to the Lions? That is crazy to be saying that, isn't it?
It is flat out nuts, David.
That the Lions are the measuring stick. Wow.
Boy, if we beat the Lions, we might really be a good team this year.
I mean, that would be a decent poll question. It's a little nuts and bolts. Who's the third best team in the NFC? You could put Detroit, Dallas, Seattle. You know.
Seattle gets no love in this, by the way.
I know.
They only beat Detroit.
In Detroit. Right. Uh-huh. I know. Yeah. Listen, we made the case before the season is Seattle, Philadelphia in disguise. Bear with me for a second. Philly 2 years ago went 9-8, snuck into the playoffs as a 7 seed, got drilled by Brady and the Bucs. They went out and got A.J. Brown. The quarterback improved in a whole other level. Next thing you know, the Eagles were terrific. Well, Seattle last year snuck into the playoffs at 9-8, got drilled by the Niners in the first round. Now, they didn't necessarily add like Philly added with A.J. Brown, if you know what I mean. But they were a very young team last year. And they added more reinforcements to it. And as Seattle, and I will say they dramatically improved their run defense, which you have to do if you're going to get by San Francisco in your division. And Geno Smith is completing on almost 70% of his passes. And, Jared Goff, Geno Smith, I know we don't really mention them, but they're playing pretty darn well. So that could be a poll question, but that's not our poll question today.
No, because today is National Pulled Pork Day.
And
I love pulled pork. But in honor of National Pulled Pork Day, what is your favorite barbecue? Pulled pork, ribs, or brisket?
Oof. Don't just breeze through that. I need a moment. I need to pull over the side of the road after that.
You need a napkin is what you need.
Well, yeah, I may need a bib.
Maybe a wet nap.
Pulled pork, ribs, or brisket?
Exactly.
Wow.
That's hard.
There's no wrong answer there.
No, there's not a wrong answer.
Don't be sending us, hey, throw wings in. No, just leave us alone, okay? That's enough. That's enough meat for one question, okay? We always say, enough meat on the bone? Is there enough meat in that question for you? Wow. My head's spinning. I mean, there's no wrong answer, yet I feel as if I need 10 minutes to answer it. So at that, Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. All right. Man, that's tough.
The shape up continues with a lot of fatty meats.
That's right. That's how we roll.
So back to Seattle for a second.
Okay.
Because they have a big game this week for both teams. I think it's one of the games on the slate this week that's kind of hidden. They're at Cincinnati.
Uh-huh.
And the Bengals at 2-3 can't lose too many more games. Period. I mean, what do they have? 3 more losses the rest of the year if you want to be a division winner at worse?
Yeah, probably. And they've already lost to Baltimore at home. That's why that Ravens throwing that game away at Pittsburgh. They'd not only be 3-0 in the division, they would have swept all three teams in their stadiums. I mean, you could argue the AFC North would have been over. Huge loss by the Ravens. Huge win for the Steelers. Back to Seattle and Cincinnati, Mark.
Seattle has an opportunity, if they get this game, to go on a little run, David. And they get the Cardinals the following week. They're at home for the Browns before they go to the Ravens. They have a little 3-gamer coming out of the bye that if they get the Bengals, they could get all 3. Now, I don't know if they're going to get the Bengals. I'm intrigued as hell by this game. I think, like I said, Tampa, we've been talking Tampa and Detroit. There's a reason to talk it. We're in Florida. We're on the Florida Sports Network, and it's 2 first-place teams. But I don't think anybody would say Tampa's better than Seattle or Cincinnati, despite what their record is.
Correct.
When we look at teams and we look at what they're going to do in the season, are they teams that could make a run? I think Seattle-Cincinnati is a sneaky good game.
I agree. We think Seattle's one of the better teams in the league, and yet they're an underdog in this one. So that tells you all you need to know. Remember how late last week we were talking the Dolphins, and we're like, listen, you got the Giants, you got Carolina, you got to pack these wins away, baby. Because at the end of the year, from the day after Thanksgiving, you've got the Jets twice, and your final 3 games are Dallas, Baltimore, and the Bills. Okay, the end of the year schedule, not exactly Cupcake City. Mark, let me lay on to you the 4-game stretch the Seahawks have beginning Thanksgiving night. Are you ready?
Okay.
They host the Niners.
All right.
Then 7 days later on a Thursday night, they're in Dallas. Then a week and a half later, they're at the Niners. And then they host the Eagles. So to review, it's the Niners twice, the Cowboys, and the Eagles. That's their 4-game stretch in a 3.5-week period of time. Back to you, Jim, in the studio.
That sounds a little taxing, David.
That sounds the antithesis of Michigan and Georgia's schedules this year. It sounds like Michigan's schedule next year, when they have Ohio State, USC, Oregon, Washington, and Texas, which is why we think Jim Harbaugh will be coaching the LA Chargers next year, but that's a whole other story. For a guy who says his hobby is getting on his tractor and mowing his front lawn, can he really take the Chargers job?
Where would you take a job if cutting grass was the most important thing to you in your secondary life, if you know what I mean?
Oh, it's got to be the Midwest, doesn't it?
Andy Reid's not going anywhere.
Well, I understand that. Hey, the Bears job may open up. In the suburb. Obviously not in the city and what have you, but I don't know. It's suburb. I don't know. Just saying. So anyway, if Seattle, I hope you put these wins away.
Because you're going to need them.
Because you're going to need them. Damn. That's a stretch. Pete Carroll was on NFL radio yesterday for his weekly appearance, and he said, yeah, I know we had an early season bye. We needed it. Remember, in our last game against the Giants, we had 4 offensive linemen out. He goes, and we had a couple guys in the secondary, and Jamal Adams suffered a concussion. He goes, I know it's early, but believe it or not, I was kind of happy for the early season bye. And Tampa had an early season bye too.
And needed it.
Because their secondary was just a bunch of walking wounded.
And Evans is banged up and gives him a little more time to rehab the hammy. So, yes.
I have to admit, this 3-1 start for the Bucs is really putting a crimp in me selling everybody off. I got to admit, not doing me any favors.
Yeah, they beat Detroit.
I know.
Then they're buyers, not sellers, David.
I know. Then you're calling up Indomitius Sue going, hey, what do you think? Florida, no taxes. Huh? We'll see you Thanksgiving. No, we don't want you now. No, take it easy. You're good. Spend time with the family, work out, and what have you. We're just thinking around Thanksgiving. That's all. What do you say? You haven't been even watching our games on Red Zone? Why don't you check us out? We're not bad. So, yeah, but I don't know if you can win a Super Bowl. Just think about it. Florida, no taxes. What do you say? Line up next to Vita Vea.
God, he'd look good in that Honolulu blue again, though.
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt. What uniform wouldn't he look good in?
Well, he's not playing this week because he probably wouldn't want to wear the creamsicle.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. So that's all. Listen, if I'm the Bills, I'm still calling the Bucs going, hey, you really committed to Devin White? No, I know. You want to keep him in the whole deal. You're really going to pay him $22 million a year for 5 years? Because that's what it's going to take to keep him. And if you're not committed to doing that, well, why don't you trade him now? How about this? Hold on to him for 3 more games. And then we play each other on the Thursday before the trade deadline. You guys come to Buffalo. We'll spank you. Okay? And then let's see. So you lose to the Lions, then you beat the Falcons, and then you lose. So you're 4-3. But you're 2-0 and 3-0 in the division. Think I could pry Devin White off your hands? No?
I don't think they can. I don't think Tampa's in the trading market. And I know you've been advocating it only for months now. But the division, particularly if they beat Atlanta, why would you make trades?
Because you could get a really good draft pick and you're
what are draft picks really worth?
Well, it depends.
I mean,
on I know. This is where I'm arguing with myself and losing. Oh, I know. Just if I'm the Bills, man, I can win a Super Bowl. I got to replace Milano. I got to replace that corner.
You've got to replace Milano.
Yeah. I know the young linebacker's playing well. He's 220 pounds, man. He's not going to hold up. Get me a dude. Devin White's a dude. Just saying. I mean, I'm being very serious. If the Bills, because if you're the Bills, you're thinking you're drafting somewhere between like 26 and 32. Right. So if the Bills called up the Bucs and said, listen, I'll give you a first-round pick for Devin White. You going to turn that down if you're Tampa? Now, if you're in the back of your mind, you're signing him 5 years, $110 million, then you're not making the deal. But are you? Because that's what it's going to take. I mean, that's what the guy in Baltimore got. I mean, we all know what the market is. You're either going to pay him or you're not. He's getting it from someone. Are you going to pay him, yes or no? The answer is yes, you hang up the phone. If the answer is no, and the Bills are willing to give up a first-round pick to rent Devin White, you make the deal?
I mean, you answered the question right there. It's all on what the Bucs' long-term plans are with White. And quite frankly, what White's long-term plans are with the Bucs. He said he wants to stay.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to shop with the best. And the mall is not the place to be. Here are my friends, Jason and Todd with the Diamond District.
Take a stroll in the mall, hop into a few jewelry stores, and you'll soon discover you're in the wrong place. Rings begin to look all alike. You're not finding GIA certified diamonds. You quickly realize you know more than a salesperson helping you, and all the same financing gets pushed on you.
Visit Jason and me, and you'll find America's top bridal designers dealing exclusively with the Diamond District. You'll find the largest selection of GIA certified diamonds, all priced 8 to 10% over cost. You'll find educated sales consultants who have many years' experience and are not paid commissions.
And you'll find Todd and me in the store nearly every day, wanting to shake your hand and welcome you to our Diamond District family.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
We have breaking news.
Okay.
Breaking news. Big story. Do we have the breaking news sounder?
I doubt it.
No. What RCB? We're not talking about the Devin White re-signing with the Bills. They're not going to. No, they're renting him. So what he's making in Tampa is what he'd make in Buffalo. Yes, he'd lose some money with taxes, but it's the final year of his rookie deal. And Devin doesn't have the authority to be able to veto the trade. So.
Well, I added the talent fee for the fantasy football in my invoice and didn't get paid for it.
Well, I have to admit, I mean, well, that's interesting. Did you give her enough notice? Because we're getting paid, quote unquote, early.
Yeah, I know. I sent the invoice yesterday. I guess that wasn't enough notice.
Might not have been. I mean, you know, she might not have gotten him to approve it.
No, wait till the commissions start going on there. Because they're going to start going on there. I'm getting a little irritated that he's not sending out invoices and not doing his end of the job. I don't know what the hell he does.
Nothing, actually. I'm meeting with the billionaire next month. He's coming to Jacksonville.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you're meeting him there, I'd drive and meet you.
I was trying to arrange a meeting in Tampa. I would have no problem asking certain people to invest. I just don't know how we break even. I don't want to lose money for people.
Right. Well, I just need to see a real P&L, and I could tell you pretty quickly. Because I don't know what our expenses are outside of you and I and Felipe, if you know what I mean. I mean, I don't know what he's paying Westwood One. Other than that, there are no expenses.
Correct. Yeah, we need to find out how much it costs a month to syndicate. But see, I think we need 20 grand a month to break even.
Yep.
which is 1,000 a day, basically. If you're
It's
looking
a little less. I think it's a little less than that, but it's close.
right, because technically it's 13 months, 52 weeks, but that would be in my head, kind of like we need to do 20 grand a month. $5,000 a week, 1,000 a day.
Mm-hmm.
With 21 minutes of inventory over 3 hours.
And your 20's probably right, because we'd actually have to hire a salesperson to do it.
Right. The 4th hours extra, but
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Roy Cummings to talk about Sunday afternoon's Bucs-Lions game. Breaking out the creamsicles. Bucs coming off their bye. Some people saying the Lions are the third best team in the NFC. Battle of first place teams, ladies and gentlemen. But Mark,
what did you go with when the ice cream man came by? Did you go with the creamsicle? The creamsicle was good. I mean, I didn't. I went with the red, white, and blue popsicle.
That was a fallback. The creamsicle was the fallback. I usually went with, kind of I forget the name of it, but it was black and brown topping, and the vanilla ice cream in the middle, and it was kind of something crunch.
Had the nuts to it.
Well, not a huge. It had really fine nuts on the top, not the big nuts, but they're really fine. That was what I went with. Something called Nut Crunch. That's what I went with.
And I went with the Rocket, the red, white, and blue Rocket popsicle. That was my go-to as a kid.
Huh. Interesting. I never would have guessed that. Listen, we have breaking news, and this is a big story. This will dominate the sports world over the next 12 hours. I'm just saying. Taylor Swift is going to attend the Broncos-Chiefs game tonight.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Her Eras Tour movie premiered in LA/Hollywood last night. It premieres nationwide, I believe, tomorrow. Mark, already over $100 million in advance ticket sales for her Eras Tour movie. The expectation is when this weekend is done, it will be at least $175 million in ticket sales. This is just a movie of her on tour.
Correct.
Right. Mm-hmm. But, it was a big story in Hollywood last night. See, you could tell nobody in Hollywood knows anything about sports because they're going, oh, Taylor Swift appeared on the red carpet without Travis Kelce. Yeah, he's playing the next day in Kansas City. It's not like he's allowed to attend, but they're not yet ready for their red carpet debut. Maybe they are, but he can't get away from work. Anyway, go back to covering the movies. So Taylor Swift was solo, Mark, last night on the red carpet. And anyway, her movie debuts tomorrow, and she's apparently going to be in Kansas City tonight for the Broncos and the Chiefs. And you got to figure for Amazon, what's that worth? 3 million more clicks?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
easily, David.
This is according to TMZ. So this is a really good Hollywood source. This isn't Miller and Moulton saying it. TMZ reporting in the last 10 minutes that Taylor Swift will attend. I mean, who knows? Amazon may have stroked her a check for all we know to attend. But I know if I was Amazon, I would have. How many tickets you need us to buy, Taylor, to show up Thursday night?
Is a plane and a suite enough?
Right.
Do you need
wanna
more
bring?
than that? Obviously, everything in the suite's taken care of. You know that. But if I just send a plane for you, is that enough?
Right. Which, by the way, tells me that the whole Kelsey questionable with an ankle injury tells me he's playing.
Absolutely.
I don't think she's attending if he's a game time decision. His mom does. I mean, mom does seem cool, and that's her thing. By the way, I did not realize this because this just in. I don't know about you, Mark. I wasn't paying close attention to Taylor Swift's dating history.
No. Do you know how bad it is that I actually, during a break last week, looked it up?
Did you really?
I wanted to see if I knew who anybody was that she dated.
You did.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what I found out.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she's 33. She's been dating publicly for half her life.
Yeah, but I'm not a movie guy at all.
I know you're not.
And I'm certainly not a pop music guy.
No, you haven't watched Entertainment Tonight since the 90s. Right.
So there are a lot of these names. You know, I'm doing Today Was the Day When that we do in our bonus hour, and I'm looking at birthdays, and I'm going, I probably should list this person, but I don't know who the hell it is. The big picture of them, they're really important.
So, breaking news. She's showing up at the game tonight.
Big.
Telling you, this relationship is more real than you think. You don't think this is a publicity stunt because her movie premieres tomorrow, do you?
Felipe does.
It definitely is, but we won't go there.
No. That's fine. You're not alone. Felipe, there is a question, however, in our Twitch chat room. Do you have your ticket for the movie?
I'm not answering that question because everyone knows the answer.
Well, not necessarily. You have a
No.
girlfriend. Well, don't know if your girlfriend's a Swiftie.
Oh, hell no.
Well, what do you mean, hell no? Like it's a deal breaker. Like if she literally a week ago had said to you, you know, I'm kind of a fan, you would have said, well, we're done.
Well, that's not the kind of women I associate myself with.
All right, what if she said she wanted to go to the movie?
She wanted to watch the movie?
Yeah.
I'd test her. I'd be like, are you on drugs?
Okay. And she goes,
Okay.
no, I want to go to the movie. Will you go with me?
Want to see what all the hype is. Will you go to the movie with me?
She would never say that though.
You're not answering the question.
I'd say no. There's a game on.
You wouldn't go.
No.
Your girlfriend, first off, you work 2 jobs. You see her an hour and a half a week. She wants to spend that hour and a half with you at a movie theater with the Taylor Swift movie. You'd go, no, honey, I'm sorry.
Of course not.
Right. Okay.
He's acting as if he has hand in this relationship.
I know.
It's just you're bringing up a hypothetical that is
yes. Of course, we're bringing up a hypothetical, but come on now, answer the question. If the question is real, if your girlfriend said, "I want to go to the Taylor Swift movie," would you go with me?
No.
Yes or no?
I would not go. Sorry,
Unbelievable.
It's playoffs, MLB playoffs. Sorry,
MLB playoffs.
Yes. I'd rather ditch a date to the Taylor Swift movie for the NLCS. I would do that.
Unbelievable. Man, when she finds out she got ditched for the Diamondbacks, you're in trouble.
Snakes are on a roll, David. Snakes are on a roll.
I understand, but you're cooked, Felipe. I'm just saying.
Listen, this is a smooth transition to the play of the day because I'm ditching her for moments like Bryce Harper had last night when he hit 2 home runs that lit up Citizens Bank Park.
Here comes. Swing and a drive. Right field. Way back. And gone. Oh, baby, did he crush it. Into the second deck. A monster homer for Bryce Harper. And with one swing, the Phillies have a 4-1 lead. He crushed it. The pitch. Swing and a high fly ball center field. Harris back some more near the wall. Gone! Just to the left of the 401 marker, a towering homer to center field, and Bryce Harper has done it again.
Moments like that are way more important to me than the Taylor Swift movie.
We get that. We get that. That's not the question. We're asking if your girlfriend asked you to go to the movie with her, you'd say no, and that's fine. It's a simple yes or no question. It took us asking it 17 times for you to give us a yes or no answer.
It's okay. I mean, outside of your parents and your siblings, it was the best relationship in your life, and you'd end it over the Taylor Swift movie. That's fine.
By the way, Phillies win by a lot. And
10-2.
Yes.
Harper, last 2 years in the playoffs against the Braves. Have you seen the numbers? He's 12 for 23 with 5 walks. 23 plate appearances. He's been on base 17 times, including 3 homers.
Rounding second base, looking right at Orlando Arcia after he said attaboy after that final out of the previous game. Playoff baseball. Go watch it.
Miller and Moulton. Thanks for listening. The Florida Sports Network.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Good move, fam. Good move. My daughter said in the car she has one Taylor Swift song that she likes. It's fine by me. Morning, Roy.
Hey guys, how we doing?
Doing great. Yourself?
No complaints here.
Now, is your Cubs fandom go right to the Blackhawks as well?
You know, it used to. When I was a kid, man, oh man, I just lived and died for the Blackhawks as much as the Cubs, possibly even more. I mean, some of my greatest heroes in sports were Tony Esposito, Keith Magnuson, anybody on that 68 to 73-4 Blackhawks team, Cliff Corral, you name it, Pitt Martin. I knew every one of those guys, listened to every game religiously, but got away from it a little bit. And after moving away from Chicago, really, I became a big Atlanta Flames fan.
Okay.
And you know, I was a fan during the halcyon years of Kane and Tays, and but right now, few things have me more excited than Connor Bedard. I have watched I watched each of the first two games, and I get the NHL package, and I'm thinking about just possibly just watching every Blackhawks game because he's exciting. In fact, they got several young players that are very exciting.
So when it was Hawks Lightning in the 2015 finals, your allegiance was not torn in any way.
No, not really, because I mean, look, I'm very objective. I kind of wanted the Lightning to win, but if the Blackhawks won, I wasn't going to be all that upset. But just being objective and all.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And as we approach 22 minutes before the hour, Roy Cummings is kind enough to join us. He's our Bucs insider. You can follow Roy on Twix, Twitter/X at rcummingsfhcn, rcummingsfhcn. Listen, before we get to the Bucs, because obviously they had a bye last week, key measuring stick game against the Lions, battle of first place teams coming up. You're a big sports fan. You've covered other sports besides the NFL. Would you do something with the baseball playoffs? They've gone to this new format the last couple of years, and in the National League anyway, form is not holding at all. Back-to-back years, the 6 seeds made the LCS. All right, the 1 and 2 seeds are a game away from losing in the first round, so to speak, for the second year in a row. Would you change anything, or would you just say, hey, man, it's sports. This blank happens?
Yeah, with the with the exception of the Phillies-Braves series, the playoffs have been a bit of a disappointment, I think. But you know what? I don't think it erases the excitement that was created by the playoff run, even for those last couple of wild card teams among those teams that were in that race. I think just it added another level of excitement and interest for the fans in those markets. That was a time when you used to basically sit there and watch a lot of prospects come up and play out the last 12, 14 games or whatever. And I just think it was really exciting baseball for all those teams involved. It hasn't worked out in the playoffs this year, a lot of sweeps, but you know what? At the end of the day, that's baseball. Any team can go in there and knock somebody out in 3 games or 4 games or 5, whatever it might be. And I think at the end of the day, the cream rises to the top. I think the Orioles were a little bit maybe premature. I think they're finding out in Major League Baseball, much like hockey, some other sports, there's a process to winning and getting to the point where you're capable of winning it all. And I think the Orioles fell a little bit short. The Dodgers are a big surprise, but hey, when you go 1 for 18 or 19 between Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, that's hard to do. Your starting pitching doesn't hold up. That's hard to do. But Look, how can you not be excited about the Arizona Diamondbacks and really even the Texas Rangers? I think both teams are really thrilling, and no matter what happens out of the Braves-Phillies series, that's two of the best teams in baseball.
Let's switch gears to, well, two division leaders, the Lions and Bucs. Words that I thought I would never say, but I am saying as the 3-1 Bucs and the 4-1 Lions tangle this weekend, this is a step up in class for the Bucs. When they stepped up against the Eagles, they weren't ready for it. What will be different this time against the Lions in your estimation?
Well, they'll be a little bit more rested, a little bit more certain of what they can do well and what they don't do well, which should allow for a little bit better game planning, which I think is going to be critical for this team going forward. The Bucs have some strengths. Baker Mayfield's one of them. I don't think a lot of people thought that would be the case, but he's one of them, which makes their offense a strength. The defense, I think, is a strength too, but they've got to learn to run the ball, and they've got to be able to get off the field a little bit better defensively, maybe take it away a little bit more. So, yeah, this is a very good measuring stick. In fact, I think this might be a better measuring stick than the Eagles. Look, the Eagles are one of the top 5 teams in the NFL. I don't think anybody expected the Bucs to really match up to them man for man. I think the outcome was a little bit disappointing, but it came out the way most people would think. The Lions are a little bit like the Bucs, an upstart team here. Even though the Bucs have been to the playoffs 3 years in a row, they're a bit of an upstart because of the loss of Tom Brady, who we know makes a big difference. So I think at the end of the day, I think this is a better measuring stick. This is going to tell us a little bit more about where the Bucs really are.
Mark pointed out earlier in the show, the Lions are third best at stopping the run in the NFC, and the Bucs are not a good running team. So 2 things. First off, do you think the Bucs will have any success against the Lions running? And secondly, bigger picture, Roy, is this just not going to be a good running team? That some offensive lines are just better at pass protection than they are run blocking. The Bucs stable of running backs is not great. Don't even know if they're average even, and they're certainly unproven. Are we just going to have to accept that, this team probably, they're going to want to run, but they're probably not going to be good at it?
Well, let's see what happens over the next 2-3 games. The bye week gives you a great opportunity to adjust things, look at it, figure out what's not working and why it's not working. And with the running game, there's a couple of things. Look, I'm big on the belief that the offensive line has to be, that's the point of attack. They've got to create the first 3-4 yards, at least first 2-3 yards. After that, it's on the running back. You got to hit the hole. You got to hit it hard, and you've got to try to, make yards after contact. We thought that was what this running back core was all about. We thought that was what Rachaad White was all about. He has yet to show me that he can hit a hole hard, that he can hit, that he can follow the line properly. There were a couple of glimpses, actually, 2 weeks ago, a couple of, late in the game, as the defense tired against him. He did hit the hole a little bit harder and make some extra yards. But, we've yet to really see anyone on this running back core really establish themselves as someone that you got to, you got to bring your lunch pail to work with you against him. And I think that's got to happen, as well as the line being a little bit more cohesive and given a little more push up front.
Roy, I hear everything you're saying with them wanting to run, and you're right with the bye and figuring things out. But I actually think against Detroit, they're going to have to throw it first to run it. I think that, with the Lions defense and how they've played, they have been determined to stop the run, and they've done a really good job of it. I think Tampa's going to have to throw the ball early to establish the run later in the game.
Don't disagree with you, but, NFL coaches tend to overthink things, and their overthinking is, it's kind of like Ralph Cramden, you don't know what I know that you know that I don't know, and all that kind of stuff, right? So they'll think, well, they're gonna load us up. They think they can stop the run. They're gonna make us pass. Well, guess what? We're gonna run. We'll show you. We'll run. So don't be surprised if this thing starts off. You go through a quarter and a half, and the Bucs have 12 yards rushing, and then they're down by 2 scores and realize, okay, now we got to put it in Baker Mayfield's hands and pass. And, again, they're as good as Baker Mayfield has been. are you really ready to put all that on Baker Mayfield right now? He's still Baker Mayfield. And I love Baker Mayfield, but he's a gunslinger. Gunslingers get you in trouble. We've seen it before. Even the best gunslingers of all time have put their teams in peril at times. Don't forget Brett Favre, throwing it all over the lot sometimes. So you don't necessarily want to do that. You've got to establish some kind of running attack, make them appreciate that at least, so that the play action passes work a little bit better.
Baker's been a pleasant surprise, though, right? Even you, a Baker guy, and you said that going into camp. You're like, I'm a Baker guy. I want him to be the starter, the whole deal. But, you know, we were talking to somebody from Pro Football Network yesterday who said, listen, on third downs, Baker Mayfield, he referenced Carson Wentz in 2017 when Wentz was an MVP candidate. He said, Baker's performing at a staggeringly high level on third down. I mean, that's the money down. If your quarterback's producing on third down, you're going to be pretty good.
Yeah, well, a couple of reasons for that. Number one, pretty good offensive game plan, I think. I think Dave Canales is proving to be one of the better offensive minds in the game, and he's got a long way to go. I think he's just kind of scratching the surface of what he's capable of doing. So that's number one. Number two, plenty of options. And good options. When you're throwing to Mike Evans or Chris Godwin or, you know, even some of the younger guys that they've got, you've got a pretty good setup there. So he's got lots of options. And the other thing is he's a threat to run. You've got to respect that. And he's not afraid to run. That's, again, people are kind of marvel at that, but we've also known that this is a guy who's not afraid to put his face in the fan, you know, and go in there and just absolutely do whatever it takes to get a third down. If that means running it for 12 yards, take a hit at the end of it, he'll run and take the hit. You don't want to see it necessarily, but boy, oh boy, it's hard not to love. And the other thing is, and we know this already, the other players on the team see that and absolutely love it, and it inspires them. So there's a lot of intangibles coming out of Baker Mayfield's approach to the game that I think the Bucs are benefiting from. And you're right. He's just been very smart on third down. But, hey, you know what? Why shouldn't he be? This is a guy who was the first overall pick in the draft. He should be good on third down. I think he just needed to get around. He needed to have a good coordinator with a good game plan and good players around him. It's a formula that too many teams in the NFL seem to forget about when they go and draft a quarterback in the first round or first overall. They think, okay, well, this guy will solve the problem. But you forgot that, oh, yeah, he needs a game plan, he needs a coach, and he needs players around him. You know, it's happening in San Francisco, and gee, we're all kind of shocked by it, but why are we shocked by it? He's got those three things: good game plan, good coach, good players around him.
I'm curious to see how Tampa's secondary plays against Detroit. Now, St. Brown, the abdomen, I don't know what his status is yet for this week, but they got the kid from Alabama back who's in the lineup. They've got a good receiving core. Reynolds has been playing pretty well as well. So I'm curious what Tampa secondary has for Detroit. And if they don't, how Baker will play in a shootout type game, because we haven't had one of those yet for Tampa. And I'll be interested if Detroit can score. Can Tampa answer?
Yeah, that's a great point. Look, Tampa feels like it could have a couple of guys back in its secondary. I think the secondary is pretty deep. I think they've shown that already. They've got to be a little bit more focused on the ball, I think, and take it away, give their offense some opportunities. I think that's possible, but you're right. Yeah. How does Baker perform in a shootout? Well, it would be fun to watch. Let's say that. And that would be interesting. And it could turn into that. It really could, because the Lions certainly bring that ability. And I think the Bucs have it too. So yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. I mean, if this thing kind of falls apart defensively, okay, well, let's see how the Bucs handle a shootout. I mean, they used to do it pretty well back in the day when Tom Brady was here. So let's see if Baker Mayfield can measure up.
Next 10 days, kind of a key little stretch here. If they can beat Detroit, then they get Atlanta at home. I mean, you know, that could be 5-1, 2-0 in the division. You know, the next 10 days, and obviously it could go the other way, and then they would go to Buffalo on a short week. It just seems to me, you know, this little 2-game stretch here, this could be a little teeter-totter situation in the schedule.
It could be, and, you know, even if they don't win against Detroit, I still think they come out of this stretch, in first place, maybe tied, but I just don't see anybody else in their division right now coming to the forefront and playing it at a really high level. Even the Saints, beating the Patriots, that used to be special. It's not anymore. That's a bad football team, guys, and it's poorly coached, it seems. So I'm wondering if Bill Belichick was just successful because of Tom Brady. Wouldn't be surprised with that. But anyway, I think the Bucs are going to be okay. They, in my opinion, win at least one of these. And if it's not this week against the better opponent and it's next week against Atlanta, fine. You got plenty of games to play. The schedule gets a little bit tougher, but I still think you win the games you should win, and you'll be just fine. Not sure this one this week is one of those you should win. It's one of those you want to win, but I'm not sure it's one you should win. Tough matchup.
So first it was the Cubs keeping him up late for 6 months, and now it's Connor Bedard and the Blackhawks. In and around that, Roy Cummings covers the Tampa Bay Bucs for us. You can follow him on Twitter/X at rcummingsfhcn, rcummingsfhcn. Roy, all the best. Good luck to your hockey team, and when we talk again, hope we're talking to a first-place team that's 4-1.
That would be fun. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Roy Cummings, kind enough to join us once again, his weekly appearance. Sometimes it's at this slot, sometimes it's the next slot, but, well, Alex Golesh, the South Florida head coach, is joining us in 10 minutes, so we bump Roy up.
And Roy doesn't mind.
No.
That's the beauty.
All right. No, he was maybe the first one to make the mistake. 15, 17 years ago, the first one to go, hey, guys, anytime.
But the fact of the matter is, it's not the mistake to him because he's answered the phone for 15 years.
I know. I have to talk to his wife. Say, hey, what's going on? Nobody answers our calls for 15 years. Well, Seth Everett does, but that's a whole other story. But anyway, we love him. Roy Cummings and the Bucs. First place showdown, baby, in the creamsicles. Yeah. Doug Williams,
First
James
place
Wilder.
Bucs in the first place Lions. I am still having a hard. I don't care if it's early October. I'm still having a hell of a time just getting that out, David.
Well, they were in the same division for many years, so it was impossible to say.
Yeah, but there was never a time in that division that they were tied playing one another and the winner was going to take sole possession of first place.
I believe it or not, I think they actually played for the division title, the final game of the regular season in 81. They were both like 8-7, and the winner won the division to go get humiliated by the Cowboys. But that's it. And besides, they were 8-7. I mean, please. I'm pretty sure that happened. But then again, it's 40-something years ago. My memory's not what it used to be. So
the fact that you just pulled up an 81 season for me, I knew when I said that, I'm like, man, if it happened, I'm going to get this thrown right back in my face. And David goes 1981.
As Chris Berman so fondly said, okay, that was the black and blue division. That was the NFC Norris. Alex Golesh, South Florida football coach. He is next.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again.
Yeah. Hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Myers.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki bar cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6 and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The waterways of Naples are a beauty to behold, and the Bayfront Inn has multiple ways for guests to enjoy the water and have some fun. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn. Something for everyone. On 5th Avenue in Naples.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Golesh on hold.
Oh, wow. Do they know it's going to be like another 4 minutes?
Yeah, they have one of his guys call.
Okay.
Just came out of a meeting.
Okay, you just didn't turn my mic on, and David started talking, so I get a little nervous.
My bad. Sorry.
David, don't know if it's true, but someone says the Bucs beat the Lions in the 98 wild card game, final game in Tampa Stadium.
Okay. Final game in the sombrero?
Yep. And
I was right about 81, by the way.
Someone else did send in a nice little text that says the Bucs have a more recent NFC North title than the Lions.
That's just mean.
It's true. It's a great. I mean, we'll come back with these at 8:21.
That's outstanding.
You could even say that, not including Tom Brady, they'd still have a more recent NFC title.
No, they have a more recent NFC North title.
Oh, NFC. Oh, right.
Because the Lions is 91, right?
90.
Or was it 93?
93.
Oh, yeah, that's when Favre then beat him in the playoff game. They beat Favre to make the playoffs, win the division. Then the next week, Favre beat him, knock him out.
So the Bucs used to play at a stadium people would refer to as the Sombrero.
The big sombrero. The old stadium looked like a big sombrero. That's what
incredible.
Chris Berman called it. The big sombrero.
It's where the Giants-Bills Super Bowl. It's where the Raiders-Redskins Super Bowl, Marcus Allen's heroics, was at the big sombrero. The Giants-Bills, Norwood missed the kick Super Bowl, big sombrero.
Was it? Where was it? Was it near Raymond
Yes.
James. Oh,
Yeah.
Right there.
Tampa Stadium. Oh wow, it does look like a sombrero.
There's a reason it was called that.
That is incredible.
It was. I just remember it was remarkable when it rained and the water cascading down the steps, and literally there'd be 2 feet of water at the bottom separating the people in the stands and the sidelines. I just thought it was. I'm like, wow, that's a storm.
That was a really cool looking stadium.
Then they wore the creamsicles.
It was hot.
Oh,
There
yeah.
was no cover.
None.
There's not much cover at Ray J either. We're coming back.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And it is the third and final hour of Miller and Moulton along the network. Thanks so much for being with us. The Diamond District bonus hour for Southwest Florida is 1 hour away. Alex Golesh, the head coach of South Florida, is kind enough to join us once again. Coming off a loss to UAB. They're 3-3 at the midway point of the season. Coach, thanks for your time. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
When we talked to you a few weeks ago and we asked you about your defensive philosophy, in which you said, listen, we're going to be aggressive and we're going to give up some big plays. Well, UAB hit you for 4 of them. I mean, 4 touchdowns that were between essentially 50 and 75 yards. You showed that, hey, even when you hit the big plays, we're not going to back off, right? This is who we are. Good luck.
Yeah, I think obviously the big explosives are not what you're intending to get when you're aggressive. But, at the end of the day, you've got to continue to build around philosophically being aggressive in everything you're doing. Like 3 of those 4 explosives a week ago, we actually were playing coverage and didn't fit things right. Most of the explosives we gave up ended up being on the perimeter in terms of just not setting an edge or setting an edge and not filling the way we're supposed to. A lot of tackling in space, which has been an issue for us all year, and certainly something that we're hammering home because it isn't the first time it's shown up, but certainly a huge issue that we've got to continue to address and make sure that as we move forward, it's handled.
Well, how is it during the season that you get better at defense, Coach? I mean, it sounds to me like you've said players are in the right spots in the tackling. How is it during the season that you can improve upon defense?
Well, I think there's no better lesson that you could ever learn than actually playing, and as soon as you feel like, man, we got exposed at a certain spot, as coaches, you knew there's a matter of time before we know our deficiencies, right? You go through spring, you go through summer, you know your deficiencies. You obviously try to fix them. And then as soon as it shows up in a game, it's one of those things that for guys, especially guys that hadn't played a ton of football, it's like, man, we told you, we showed you, and here it is. I think sometimes you got to see it to believe it. And hopefully in a lot of ways, a wake-up call, not just for the players. It's easy to say, man, like that guy just didn't make the play. As coaches, for us, man, like, did we put them in the right situation? Did they get the reps of it? Did you try to schematically make sure you were right in what you were doing? And if all of those things are right and you just don't make the play, that really ultimately comes down to, did we coach it well enough? And I never blame the guys. Obviously, it's on us as coaches to make sure we get it right. But at the end of the day, there's no better teaching tool than actually playing and seeing it happen.
I know you don't like to look back, but we talk to you every other week. You 2 games ago won a road game in conference, and you overcame an early 14-0 deficit to beat Navy. The significance, because obviously you're building something here. These guys aren't used to winning. All right, the significance of a road conference come from behind win. Did it have any?
Yeah, I think it's all part of growth. I really do. You know, when we went down 14-0 at Navy, there was a moment of, is this going to happen again, or are we going to truly just play the next play like we've been preaching and harping on since the day we got here? And the guys continue to just play the next play, you know. And I can honestly say, even a week ago at UAB, there was no flinch, there was no separation, there was no panic moment. Now, frustration, yes. You know, you offensively, we turned it over twice early in the game, and when we've turned it over in the last 3 weeks. We've turned it over 9 times, and the UAB game, the Navy game and the Rice game, we turned it over and we were able to overcome it. And the harping of taking care of the football after both of those games was crazy. I mean, you know, you drill it, you hammer home decision-making at quarterback, how you secure the ball, carrying the football. And, you know, I said to the team, I said to certainly the offense, we can't turn it over. Defensively, we've got to force turnovers because we're living in this world where you're playing with fire. And it caught up to us, you know. But again, if you're truly building a program, the biggest thing that I'm concerned about is the response to the situation, even more so than the actual situation. And our guys didn't flinch. Now, we didn't play well. And I said this in the press conference on Tuesday, our best players didn't play well. So you look back at it and you say, okay, where did we go wrong? And if you're truly a process-oriented program rather than a result-driven program, you go back and you evaluate the process. And it all comes back to coaching in terms of somewhere along the line, the process was wrong where our best players didn't play well. And you can make a million excuses there. And if you choose to, you can line them up. And we have chosen not to. Guys have gotten banged up. Next guy's got to be up. Guys have gotten banged up. Is our recruiting good enough that we can sustain the next guy going in? If it's not, then we got to recruit better. You know, there's a million different things that come up, but we didn't play well. Our best players didn't play well, and we obviously didn't coach well enough. And so if you look at it as you're building a program, which I certainly do, it's a hurdle, absolutely. It's a roadblock, absolutely. Now, how do we respond? And at the end of the day, when you're in the middle of a season, you learn, you grow from the week before, but really good teams get better as the year goes. And that's a challenge to us. You know, and I said it to our guys, you know, they haven't played meaningful games in October here in 5 years. Now we're playing meaningful games. So now how do we respond? How do we refocus? How do we put it behind us? And if we truly are who we say we are, which is the most aggressive team in the country and will swing and fight on anybody at any time, at any place, then we'll respond this week. And I'm fascinated to see what it looks like on Saturday.
He's Alex Golesh. He is the head coach of the Bulls of South Florida. They're 3-3. They are hosting FAU, and you can follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at Coach Golesh, Golesh.
Well, what are the challenges that Florida Atlantic bring to the table? What have you seen on film that you have that are most concerning to you, Coach?
Yeah, you know, really well-coached football team. You know, they've got a veteran staff. They put their guys in positions to be successful. They don't do anything crazy. And so defensively, they present a lot of challenges. They're a veteran group, played a ton of football, older group that has had success, really big up front, really athletic up front, and really active in the secondary. So for us, you know, our bigger struggles all year have been to be able to protect the quarterback and get rid of the ball on time. And so that's a challenge to us. We've run the ball effectively. When we've been able to protect, we've thrown it effectively. And it's not just the O-line. You know, part of protecting the quarterback is guys getting open. Part of protecting the quarterback is running backs and tight ends being in the right spot. So, and then the quarterback having his eyes in the right spot and making really good decisions with the football. So they present a challenge defensively because they're sound and they're big up front and they're certainly athletic in the back end. Offensively, they present a challenge several different ways. One, Coach Herman and Todd Orlando have spent a lot of time together. They were on staffs together at 2 different places. So they know who we are. They know who our DNA is. The challenge for us is to be different enough that we present different pictures and are able to continuously be aggressive to force the football into bad situations. And so I think it's a good matchup. I think personnel-wise, we match up really well. And now it's going to come down to our guys executing at a high clip.
Do you feel that there's been a little too much burden on Byron Brown, the quarterback? I mean, he's had to lead you in rushing attempts and rushing yards 2 of the last 3 weeks, or no, man, he drives the engine. Let's go.
Yeah, I think if you ever said there's a burden on your quarterback, you got the wrong quarterback. Byron, you're watching. If you're a fan and you follow us and you watch us, you're watching one of the better quarterbacks in the country grow and develop right before your eyes. He mentally handles all of it. He physically handles all of it. He's one of the toughest young guys I've ever been around, mentally and physically. And he's continuing to develop as a thrower. And so, no, I don't think we're putting too much on him. We're certainly cautious of what we ask him to do, but every week I feel like he's just grown and grown and grown and continues to have a next play mentality, which you have to have at that position. So I'm really excited to continue to see his growth and see where he can take us, but it all goes through him.
The Bulls, 3:30 Saturday afternoon at home against FAU. Tickets available. If you don't go, you can watch it on ESPN2. Coach, we appreciate you making time for us every other week. Best of luck. We'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks.
Thank you so much. Go Bulls. See you guys Saturday at Ray J.
Alex Golesh, head coach of the 3-3 Bulls. And when you won 4 games in the last 3 years and only 1 against a non-1AA school, that's a decent-looking record. You got FAU and then UConn, and I think UConn just picked up their first win the other day before Memphis.
They still have Charlotte on the schedule, so they have 3 games. I mean, there is a path to 6 for the Bulls.
And Temple, and a home game against Temple. There is a path to a bowl here, which when you're coming off 1-11, I mean, let's be honest, that would be a successful season.
Would be an incredibly successful season. A lot of guys have come in here and not been able to do what he has done.
So they're a 2.5-point favorite, by the way.
Yes.
Hosting Tom Herman's FAU Owls.
FAU doesn't score. They've been offensively challenged this year.
Well, South Florida scores.
Yes, they do.
Problem is sometimes South Florida lets the other team score too.
They both teams defensively have given up a lot of points. This could very well be a game that's going to hit an over.
That Alabama game was an aberration on both sides of the ball.
Totally.
If that's the only time you've seen South Florida this year, you're like, what the hell are the two of you talking about? Yeah, you should take a look at the other 5 games. You play the over in the other 5 games. Dr. Roto in 25 minutes to answer your fantasy football questions. Keep them coming.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
See, I thought Kramer by the mid 90s was on the Bears, and I thought that was Scott Mitchell.
I think it was.
Because I thought that Mitchell filled in for Marino in 93 and signed with the Lions in 94. And that Kramer went to the Bears. Okay, music, and to everybody else. When you give that many choices, it gets difficult. Okay, first off, even for the people on the radio to remember all the choices, but also for Roto to go through them.
Like Dolphin asked a perfect question. Brees Hall or Olave? PPR flex.
Right.
That's and the should you trade Burrow thing for whom? He's not going to be able to answer a trade question unless there's a trade partner. That's all. And I wouldn't trade Burrow.
Yeah, Warren Moon was 94 and 95 for the Vikings. He got replaced after 95 by Brad Johnson.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"21 minutes past the hour, Dr. Roto in a little more than 15 minutes time to answer your fantasy football questions. It is now, as we like to say, safe for you to submit your questions, whether it be in the Twitch chat room or by texting the text line at 21,000. We can keep track of them now in amongst all the other traffic that we get. So, voila, Dr. Roto to answer your questions in a little more than 15 minutes time. And speaking of questions, Mark, we have a poll question.
We do. It involves barbecue.
Meat.
Today is National Pulled Pork Day. What is your
Yeah.
favorite barbecue? Pulled pork, ribs, brisket. Pulled pork in the lead barely, 35% of the vote. Ribs, 33% of the vote. Brisket, 31% of the vote.
That's what I'm talking about right there. That's a poll question. No wrong answers. A lot of meat. Yeah. I like it. I went brisket, by the way.
You did?
I did. I tried to say if all three could be prepared the best, who's A game? You know, we all have places in mind where we've had the best ribs and the best brisket and the best pulled pork. And so I went with brisket.
That's an interesting way to look at it, because I went pulled pork because no matter where you go, it's tough for them to screw that up.
True. But I went with, all right. And then I've got this certain restaurant in mind in which I'm like, I got to admit, I'd take their brisket. So no wrong answers, though. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Florida Sports Network on Twix and floridasportsnetwork.com.
We did get a couple of texts after we were talking Bucs and Lions.
Oh, I thought it was after we were talking Taylor and Travis.
No.
Okay.
No, we did get a couple, but one person pointed out that the Bucs beat the Lions in the 98 wild card game. It was the final game in Tampa Stadium.
Ooh.
And he says that Derek Brooks ended Scott Mitchell's career in that game.
They had switched to the pewter, though, right? By 97? Because they drafted Sapp and Brooks together in 95.
No, I think you're right on the pewter. Just
right.
That's the last game. The other factoid that was pointed out via text is that the Bucs have won the NFC North more recently than the Lions.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at the Lions.
Yeah, you are.
No,
yes, you are.
I'm just laughing at that factoid. That's a tough one.
93 for Detroit, 98 for Tampa.
Golly. And, oh, man, that's a tough one. That is a tough one because, this just in, the Lions have stayed in that division.
Right.
And the Bucs have left it a while ago. And by a while ago, we mean like a generation. That's a tough stat. Now, there's a lot of tough stats with the Lions, though, but that's a oof. In fact, I may have to reach out to a few of my friends at Fox who I know are doing the game and go, hey, are you guys aware of this? You got this in your graphics package? Because this is a good one.
That will end this year. The Lions have already taken a stronghold in the division. Could have it clinched by
Thanksgiving. No, it's over. No, they've won the North. When they went to Green Bay and won, we put the X next to them. It's over. Come on. The Packers are 2-3. The other two teams are 1-4. They're 4-1. It's over.
This is a hard place for a Lions fan to live, David.
It's over. You're playing whether to be the 3 or the 4 seed. That could be what's at stake here. Are you going to be the 3 or the 4? You want to be the 3. Get an easier home playoff game. And then you play the loser, the Niners and the Eagles. Because they're going to play in the regular season and determine which one's the 1 and which one's the 2. And right now, everybody thinks the 1's going to be the Niners. So, you want to be the 3. That's all I'm saying.
And the Lions play Dallas late in the year. Don't you think that very well could be for who's the 3 and who's the 5?
Yeah, we've got that game. It's on I think it's technically on a Saturday. I think it's Saturday, December 30th, because they don't have a Monday Night Football game that Monday because it's New Year's Day, I believe. And so they're giving that to college football. So they moved the Monday night game to Saturday night, Detroit at Dallas. That'll do a number.
Whew.
Works out great for me, too, because the day before is the Sun Bowl. I can get out of El Paso, after the game, get to Dallas the night before the game. That's living.
You mean you're not going to stay the night in El Paso?
No, although I will say they found a new hotel last year, and it changed everything. Found a part of El Paso I'd never been to before. It was actually fun. Yes, you heard yes, I said that. It was fun. It turned Groundhog Day into fun. Because, literally, that's what the Sun Bowl is. You go, we have the same chaperone. 15 years we've had the same guy driving us around in the same hotel, same work staff. It really is Groundhog Day. Now we had a new hotel. We got rid of the chaperone. It was a fun, happening place. Fans in jerseys and partying and everything. It's like, all right, let's have a bowl game. Drinks in the morning. All right, now we're talking. This is college football. We're getting hammered at 9 a.m. All right, before the Sun Bowl. There you go.
Fun at the Sun Bowl.
Yep. It's possible.
Still the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, right?
Damn right it is, Mark. I got backpacks with the logo on it and everything. You want one?
I'm good on backpacks. If I needed one, I would love to have a Tony the Tiger backpack.
They gave us one year, they gave us a hair dryer with the backpack. It's been like 5 years since they gave us the hair dryer. I keep saying, where's the hair dryer?
A hair dryer?
I know. Well, I gave it to my wife.
Who uses a hair dryer?
Are they handing out those mini boxes of Frosted Flakes?
No, this isn't a NASCAR race. No. They don't hand them out like smokes back in the day. No, I wish. No, got to pay for the Frosted Flakes. But I get Tony the Tiger on my backpack. Nothing says you're 8 years old like Tony the Tiger on your backpack.
But Frosted Flakes are terrific.
They
As
are.
far as the sugary cereals go,
Top
you
tier.
can't go wrong with the Frosted Flake.
No.
Top tier.
Yeah, if I'm going to die, if a cereal's going to kill me, it's on the short list.
It really is. That was the first one, and I got the small boxes as a kid, the 6 boxes of different cereals, and the Frosted Flakes was it didn't last.
Only downside with the Frosted Flakes is that they're the most choking hazard cereals.
Yeah, once again, if I'm going to die from a cereal, that's
Frosted Flakes,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Besides, if you're choking, you just need more milk. That's all.
They're great.
See what he did there?
Dynamite drop in, Felipe. Dynamite.
I have to admit, if he had just put a little more oomph into it, it would have been perfect.
Because it's truly, they're great. You need oomph. Or, as you said before, David, a little charisma.
Right. Let's date ourselves some more, shall we?
Absolutely.
All right, Dr. Roto's next. You know the condition of your fantasy football team. 73 guys getting hurt every week. How many of them are on your team? What
Who
move
did
do
you get
need
in the
to
waiver
make?
wire? Who are your starters? What do you need to do with your fantasy team? Dr. Roto to answer all of your fantasy questions next. Start them, sit them, who the sleepers are out there. We'll get to all of it coming up with Dr. Roto. He is next on Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Yeah, that's the sink.
Is that a cameo from Oakland?
That's on.
Dang. By the way, it's so funny. SportsCenter just posted something on Instagram. They said 3% of ESPN fantasy teams are still looking for their first win, and Dak Prescott is on the post. How many of y'all drafted him?
Hold on here. Did I miss anybody? Man.
Hello. I mean, pick up Sam Howell. Anyone.
It will never turn into 5, John. There's no way. The Supreme Court will hear it before that.
All right, here we go. He's on hold.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
It is 22 minutes before the hour, and on Thursdays in our final hour, that means the good doctor making his house call. He's Dr. Roto. You can follow him on Twix, Twitter/X at Dr. Roto, DRROTO, and you might as well use that and go to his website, drroto.com. Great information. You can listen to him Saturday mornings on SiriusXM's Fantasy Sports Radio. Good morning, Doc. How are you?
Now, have you made Twix a thing? Has it become a thing now that you've said it a couple of weeks, or not necessarily?
No, I mean, we're Miller and Moulton. Who the hell? How are we?
We're not a thing.
Right.
You guys are a thing. The minute you think you're not a thing, you're not a thing. So you got to think you're a thing. You and your mom have to think you're a thing.
My mom thinks we're a thing. David's mom definitely thinks we're a thing.
So then you're a thing.
What kind of thing are we is the question. Hey, Doc, I have a question for you. Just who have you been most surprised from a positive point or a negative point this season? And I say that because everybody's wanting to trade a guy. Are there guys, like a Joe Burrow? Would you put him on the block right now? Or last week, did that surprise you? Is there something long range you're thinking right now?
Well, look, Joe Burrow has been a mess. But at the end of that game last week, he ran for, 12 yards? How are you not encouraged that the guy ran? Right? I mean, we've been worried about him re-injuring that calf every minute of every game. So, I mean, Chase blows up, which you kind of knew he would because there's no Higgins there. I mean, it's not like the Cardinals are such a great defense, but still, I think if you have Burrow, now's the time you hold him. I mean, what are you saying? Oh, he had one good game. Let me trade him before the sky starts falling. I don't think so. I think you got to hope the sky stays up and is beautiful there in Cincinnati. So I'm holding a guy like Burrow. I'm holding a T. Higgins. I think this is the point of the season. We're getting into bye weeks. This week there's a couple of teams. Next week there's like 6 teams. I think you got to go with the guys that you think are your studs.
Okay, and to take it one step further, somebody who has struggled this year, but now's the time to go trade for him.
Yeah, Breece Hall, 100%. And you know what? He had a good week last week, but he's going to be terrible this week. Going to play the Eagles, not going to be great. Then he has a bye week next week. Oh, my God, you're going to get nothing from Breece Hall the next 2 weeks. But don't worry, after that, his schedule opens up, and it's going to be terrific. And he looks phenomenal, right? I was wrong on Breece Hall. I did not draft him. And he's a Roto child, right? He was my Roto child last year, but I did not draft him in any leagues this year because I wasn't sure about how he was going to rebound. Well, I mean, could you imagine if Aaron Rodgers was there, how good this guy would be?
Yeah, and how good they'd be. Yeah.
All right, Doc, start one. Kenneth Walker, Mike Evans, Rashad White. Who are you starting?
Well, I mean, look, the Lions are an interesting team. They're way better at home than they are on the road, but their run defense has been good. Okay, their run defense has been good. So White is not a must start. Mike Evans, we don't know how he's doing, but I know Kenneth Walker is playing Cincinnati, and Cincinnati's run defense is bad. So I kind of like Kenneth Walker a lot.
All right. Apparently, this guy has a great team, except at quarterback, and his choices are Dak or Howell.
Yeah, I get it. I think I'm going with Dak. I know Dak was horrific last week, and Dak is probably one of the 2 reasons that they're not going to win a Super Bowl. The other is Mike McCarthy. But I mean, Dak is a serviceable quarterback. But look, in fantasy, when a guy kills you 1 week, you go back to him the next week because it's like in the NFL, you just really don't know what's going to happen. Now, Howell against Atlanta. Atlanta is one of those tougher defenses. They don't get a ton of sacks. They don't get a ton of takeaways, but they don't let up a lot. So I think they've been surprisingly good on defense. Chargers are surprisingly, no, not surprisingly. They stink on defense. I'm taking Dak.
Roto, should we have any faith in the Ravens running back is the question.
I don't think so, especially against the Titans this week. I mean, you trust in Justice Hill? You woke up this morning and you're like, I trust Justice Hill? I didn't.
Dolph fan wants to know in a PPR flex league, Breece Hall or Chris Olave?
I think so. Here's the interesting thing. I love Chris Olave. If you went to the summit, I talked up Olave, and I don't think Olave's the problem. I think Carr has been bad. I think the play calling has been bad. I think Michael Thomas has played really well, and that was unexpected. And now Kamara is back. So I think there are issues there. And when they're not throwing deep to Olave, it's a problem. I know he scored last week, but where were the targets? But I think if the Saints want to win that division, Chris Olave is going to have to do a whole lot better. I love Breece Hall. I mean, this is a tough matchup this week. I mean, and it's a low-scoring game. I mean, the Jets are predicted to score 17 points, and that feels like about 16 and a half too many.
Mr. Butte has another PPR flex question involving Olave or Addison.
Yeah, so here I'm probably going to play Addison. Justin Jefferson out on IR, and then I think, there are a lot of people questioning how long he's going to be out for. Addison has a tweaked ankle, but look, he's in a prime position right now. You're looking at a guy who's in an offense that throws the ball, and the Bears have been very generous. So this is probably Addison's time to shine. Now, I like Olave more, right? I like Olave more in general, but the matchup is not great, and I just need to see Derek Carr throw to Olave, and I haven't. I know Kirk Cousins is going to throw to Addison.
All right, speaking of Kirk Cousins, Lamar or Kirk, who he says, I've picked the wrong one 5 weeks in a row.
So look, Lamar Jackson is really, really hard to have as your fantasy quarterback. It's not that he's not, gifted. He is. But tell me the last time Lamar threw 3 or 4 touchdowns in a game. Just doesn't do it that way. He makes some bonehead decisions in the fourth quarter. You could always count on him for an errant pass or two at some point in the game. You have him because he runs, right? When he runs, he's magical, right? 80 yards and a touchdown or 2 touchdowns, and then all of a sudden you're winning your league by a ton. Cousins is that high floor guy. You're going to get 20 from Cousins. You're probably not going to get 35, but you're going to get 20. Lamar's the kind of guy that can get you 12, right? If he only runs for 40 yards and he doesn't throw for a touchdown pass, he's 12 points. But if he rushes 2 touchdowns, he's 35 points and you won. That's the problem with Lamar. I think the Titans very hard to run against, but I think Lamar could be somebody who runs against them, right? A mobile quarterback. I think I'm starting Lamar.
Baby Jules has a question. It's open-ended. Your confidence level going forward in having DeAndre Hopkins?
Look, when we've seen the Titans, the Titans are actually way more obvious than people are giving them credit for. When they're winning, it's Derrick Henry. When they're losing, it's Spears and Hopkins. So, last week you saw a ton of Hopkins. The week before, they were winning against Cincinnati when people didn't think they would, and you barely saw them on the field. So now, the Ravens haven't been very good against number one receivers. Hopkins. But if the Titans get out to a lead, you're not going to see much Hopkins. So I like Hopkins, but you have to know when to play him and when to sit him, right? There are certain weeks you're going to want to play him. I think this is a week that you can play him. I think he's probably good for 13 or 14 points.
I've got 2 Mozart questions. One is Gainwell or Mozart. The other is Mozart or Kyron Williams.
Are you kidding me? Gainwell or Mostert? Seriously? Are you kidding me?
Hey, I only read them, Doc. I only read them.
How is he not? And you're going to ask me what DFS got. How do you not start Mostert? Seriously. Carolina, Montgomery is still running. He's still running from last week. They still haven't caught him in Carolina. How's they going to catch Mostert?
Nell Skyer had Anthony Richardson as his quarterback. So now he has Baker, Geno, and Carr as his options.
Yeah, it sounds like a bad law firm. Baker, Geno, and Carr. I like the Michael Hornig law firm. I would use them. Yeah.
Nice. Proud sponsor of Dr. Roto's weekly segment here on Miller and Moulton, the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, not the law firm of Baker, Geno, and Carr.
Exactly. That law firm is not going to win. But I do think Geno is interesting to me. That game has the highest total in Vegas. Seattle feels healthier than they've been in a while. I probably would roll with Geno in that one.
Pollard or Cooper for flex?
All right, look, Deshaun Watson is a wreck. I don't think he's healthy. I think there's a rotator cuff issue there, and I think that's $230 million wasted, honestly. I mean, I hate to say that because a lot of people could use that money around the world, and Deshaun Watson was probably not that person. So I'm not playing Cooper because nobody can, Dorian Thompson-Robinson looked terrible, couldn't get anybody the football.
Adam wants to know, should he stack Fields and DJ Moore going forward, or was this just a thing?
Yeah, so great question. It's both. They're stackable, but it was a thing. Now, you're not going to be able to rely on that every week, but there are going to be certain weeks that thing is going to explode. So when you look at the Bears and you say, who's the matchup? If it's a good matchup that makes sense, then like the Vikings feels pretty good, right? I mean, Vikings have a terrible pass defense, so this feels like a Fields Moore week, but I'm not sure that you can rely on that week in and week out. But when it's good, I mean, you could be looking at 60 points kind of good.
All right. Jacoby Myers or Zay Flowers, full PPR?
So look, I think Zay Flowers has been tremendous. I think he's the guy because the Titans struggle covering the pass. But revenge narrative, who loves the revenge narrative more than Dr. Roto? Nobody. Jacoby Myers against his old team, he's looked good. I mean, I can see a pathway. I just see a pathway for the Raiders to really put a beat down on the Patriots. I mean, but I don't know. I don't want to say I feel badly. I think the Patriots are one of the worst teams I've seen this year. I think the Raiders, by the way, David, tell me if I'm wrong. Can you were at that game. How does he make that decision at the end of the game?
I don't know.
You're 1 yard from shutting the game down, and you decide you're going to kick a field goal or whatever they did, and give him the ball back.
He attempted a 52-yard field goal instead of going for 4th and 1 to ice the game. The field goal only would have put up 7, which in theory they still could have lost the game because Green Bay could have gone for 2. Listen, he's another coach, Josh McDaniels. I know the Belichick tree and all, but a lot of people think he can't coach. He's a coordinator, but not a head coach.
He can't coach. I mean, he's made some horrific decisions. That one, you literally, what were you doing? Even if you made the field goal, you still gave them a chance. And if you missed the field goal, you almost lost. I mean, really, if they lose that game, I think I'd fire him on the spot.
PPR League, RCB wants to know Rashee Rice, Michael Thomas, Darren Waller.
All right, so look, Rashee Rice did not get as many reps in the field, but he got reps in the red zone. So that's a good sign, right? But Michael Thomas has been playing at a very high level this year. Really has. I think he's been very underrated. People haven't noticed how good he is, but he's played well. I kind of like Michael Thomas. Darren Waller. Buffalo is interesting because they don't have Matt Milano, who's their best cover linebacker. They don't have Trey White. But the Giants really are bad, and there's a chance Tyrod Taylor might be the quarterback this week. So I think let's wait on that. The Giants are the 8:00 game, so I think we can wait as long as possible. I'm not against using Waller, especially I think the Bills are going to be in a lot of high-scoring games moving forward. That they are really good for fantasy at this point because when you lose your 2 best cover defensive players, you're going to let up a lot of points.
Would you start Rice over Amari Cooper tonight for Kansas City? You just mentioned Cooper, so I'll bring that question up.
That's a really good question. I don't know. That's a tough one. I think I don't like Cooper, but I guess I'd hold out hope that Watson would play. And I think he's barely going to throw the ball in practice, and maybe they're just going to see if he can play, for those 3 hours a week. But look, Rice is not a sure thing, and that's the problem. He's the favorite he's my favorite of the Chiefs receivers, but he's not getting 60% of the snaps. Give this guy 60% of the. It's like Marvin Mims. When these guys, when they break loose, you're going to be playing them week in, week out. I think Pacheco's going to score 2 touchdowns tonight. I think Kelsey could score a touchdown tonight. Where's Rashee Rice? I don't know if I see it.
Mozart, Bijan Robinson, or Montgomery? Who's sitting out of those 3?
Oh, my God.
Exactly.
Nobody. I think you find a way to get them all in your lineup. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even joking. Like, If you have a flex spot, you play three. I mean, you're not sitting Montgomery. I mean, there was something. Dan Campbell had a press conference yesterday, and he basically said that Montgomery's their guy. Gibbs is their, play a few touches a game, a few pass patterns, a few gadget plays. I mean, Montgomery could be getting 25 carries a week. I'm not sitting Mostert, especially with not a Chan, and Jeff Wilson's not 100%. So, I mean, these are tough calls.
PPR league, 2 out of 3. Christian Kirk, St. Brown, Puka.
Wow, you guys are killing me this morning. I love Puka. I think he must play against Arizona. It's going to be a high-scoring game. St. Brown, I think, is 50-50 if he plays. If he plays, I think you have to play him.
He's Dr. Roto. Joins us every week, courtesy of the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. Doc, have a great week.
Appreciate you guys. Talk to you next week.
drroto.com, drroto.com, and the Dr. Roto is how you follow him on Twix. We're trying to make it a thing, Twitter and X.
We're a thing, David. That's what I learned from this segment. We're a thing.
Oh, we're a thing, all right.
We're something, that's for sure.
See, we're something. See what you did there?
Miller and Moulton along the network. Thanks for listening. The bonus hour brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District is next.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung has successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida for over 30 years. As a former prosecutor, the information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, a criminal matter, or involved in an auto accident, call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung. I'm a local attorney with local knowledge to assist you through the process. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Offices in Fort Worth.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
20 years ago, Jason and I had the idea for a jewelry store like no other, with a vast selection of certified diamonds priced 8 to 12% over cost. A team of individuals who are educated, driven, and believe in cultivating relationships.
Today, we have become one of the largest independent jewelry stores in the country. Todd and I love what we do and are in the store nearly every day, along with our GIA gemologists, master jewelers, custom designers, and non-commissioned diamond consultants, all of which we consider family.
As direct diamond importers, we travel the world, forging relationships and sourcing diamonds. What we love most about our business is that we can call Southwest Florida our home.
If selection, value, and comfort are important to you, give the Diamond District an opportunity. You won't find a better diamond buying experience. Todd and I look forward to shaking your hand and welcoming you to our Diamond District family.
At the Diamond District.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again. Yeah, hi. Excuse me.
Hey, the line starts back here. Ma'am, if your party's not here, you're going to have to go around again.
If you had the opportunity to avoid all this, wouldn't you?
Salt Live is the official transportation provider of the Miller and Moulton Morning Show, making your trip to and from the airport seamless and stress-free. Salt Live is supported with the help of local partners like the Bayfront Inn. Gather your family and friends and enjoy a leisurely day on the water with a pontoon or deck boat. If you prefer to explore the waterways without a motor, the Bayfront has canoes, standboards, and kayaks. At the end of your journey, enjoy lunch or dinner at the Bamboo Tropical Bar and Grill. The Bayfront Inn, something for everyone on 5th Avenue in downtown Naples. BayfrontInNaples.com. When you need a ride, book with Salt Live Transportation, 308-8686, or book on saltlivetransportation.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Listen, in the Twitch chat room, because I handle the Twitch questions, Mark handles the text questions. You only get one question. So the first question you submit, that's the only one I'm going to ask. Sorry. It's just a thing of mine. And JB Vike, you're the only one whose question we didn't specifically get to, or at least I didn't specifically get to this week. But I think he kind of answered it.
Wow.
Love
That
of
guy who has
Olave.
all those running backs has McCaffrey as well. Can't play all three.
Damn.
Well, then, dude, you got to trade one. You're a winner. Yeah, anybody you put on the market, you'll get good value for.
Real. Hell, you can trade McCaffrey for Tyreek Hill and you can be fine. That's got to be like an 18 league way. Actually, there is a way. Could have gotten Mostert late.
I figure when you put an LOL at the end of any text, they know you're just having a little fun. That is that takes away that's like the sarcasm.
Yes. Yeah. You know, I was thinking about this yesterday. So since Dan Marino, I think it's safe to say that Tua has been the Dolphins' best quarterback in that timeline.
Yes.
Who was the second best quarterback?
Tannehill. Chad Pennington was only healthy for 1 year.
Yeah.
Jay Fiedler was serviceable, took him to the playoffs, but nothing more than that.
But just think about that. Ryan Tannehill. That's all I've gotten in my lifetime. Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah. Felipe, for years, the Dolphins would say, this guy's our quarterback. And Miller and Moulton would simply say, can this guy become the third best quarterback in franchise history? No, because the other two are Hall of Famers. But can this guy be number three? That's all we were asking, because the Dolphins went through a kind of a Packers-like run. They had Greasy the late 60s all through the 70s. They had to go through like a year and a half transition. And they actually went to the Super Bowl during the transition because of the Killer Bees defense and Don Strock and David Woodley. And then they handed the ball to Marino. Whew. I mean, they had 30 years basically of quarterback play. And now they've had a quarter century without it until...
DC, I'm glad I'm not coming back. Sorry, DC.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour of Miller and Moulton, exclusively for Southwest Florida. Thanks so much for being with us here on the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. We do have Thursday Night Football tonight, and she's showing up. Don't complain. Don't. She's showing up, okay? Just place the over on, play a drinking game, place the over-under on how many cutaway shots. No sense complaining, okay? And her movie worldwide, it drops tomorrow. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Chiefs are 11-point favorites. Do you bet Kelsey catching a touchdown tonight? Mahomes even said, I felt the pressure the last time when she was in the crowd. I had to get him a touchdown. Do you make that prop bet tonight? Kelsey questionable with an ankle injury. Anybody think he's not going to play now? You really think she's showing up to have him in street clothes?
I would take the touchdown prop bet on Kelsey every time she's at the game. And to take my chances. I would.
I'm with you. Here's what I'm wondering. Are you going to have to bet on him catching 2? I mean, they are playing the Broncos after all. The expectation is they're going to score about 31. I mean, what's the over-under's 47. They're a 10.5-point favorite. They got him scoring nearly 30. I mean, does he catch 2 with that? I mean, hell, he had a game in prime time last year against the Raiders. He only caught like 4 passes. 3 of them were for touchdowns. It's just in, Mark. When they're in the red zone, Mahomes likes to find him. He's a big target.
He is. He is. The only question is, will Pacheco get those red zone carries because Denver can't stop the run at all? I think they're the worst team in the league against the run.
And not only that,
yards per carry wise.
Right. They're 1-4. They're going to go to 1-5. And then they're going to trade like half the team. I mean, is Denver going to be in contention for, top 3 draft pick?
It is fascinating that a couple of years ago, all they needed was an offensive mind because that defense was so good.
Yep. You know who was running the defense then? The guy running the Dolphins defense now. And people don't think he knows what he's doing with the Dolphins personnel.
You wonder if the Dolphins are like the Chiefs with Spags, that it's just going to take 6-8 weeks for this group to figure out exactly what it is, what Vic Fangio wants out of them. And then Ramsey's going to come back right along that timeline. And will their defense, will they be Detroit from a year ago, whose defense was not very good, and they figured it out in the second half of the season?
I do think Vic's going to have to adjust a little bit. And right now, I agree with you, Mark. He's making the players adjust to him. But this personnel has largely played very aggressive, a lot of man-to-man, a lot of attacking the quarterback for 3 years now. Actually, 4. Because Flores had 3 years, and the guy who was a terrible coordinator tried to play it last year recklessly. And now Vic's trying to play a little bend but don't break and be patient. And these guys are like, yeah, this is not our thing. All right. And when Jalen comes back, you really think Jalen and X want to play zone? No, they want to play man. All right. So I do think Vic's going to have to be a little flexible. Plus the point I made yesterday, if the Dolphins, it's like a basketball team. If you're fast-paced on offense, you're breakneck on offense, and then what do you, zone trap on defense? So you want teams to take as much time off the play clock as possible? No, you want as many possessions in this game as possible because we are elite on offense. You want the way South Florida plays defense. You're willing to give up a big play for a score. It sucks. Give me the ball.
Just get us the ball back.
Right. You want 12 and 13 possession games, not 10 possession games.
Yeah, you want to put the pressure on the other, most games, and probably all games. You want the pressure to be on their offense to score.
Right. Right. To play into your defense also. Never mind, you force a turnover, you get a defensive score playing aggressively. This sucker's over. You just beat a team, granted, a really bad team. You just beat a team by 2 scores with -3 in turnovers and throwing a pick 6. The odds against that in the NFL are staggering, which does show you how bad the Giants are, but that's a whole other. Hey, think about our primetime games this week. So we get Thursday night, the Chiefs are 11-point favorites against the Broncos. Sunday night, we got Bills, Giants. Huh? With Tyrod Taylor, most likely for the G-Men. Thank goodness Monday night's Cowboys, Chargers.
All right. How many of these teams that are 2-2 or 2-3 are you buying? for a playoff spot. Not for necessarily Super Bowl, but are they playoff teams?
Are you going yes, no, maybe so?
I might even be going pretender, contender.
Oh, look at you.
Don't know which game we're playing right now. But, David, for you, it's time for this week's edition of Yes, No, Maybe So.
For a playoff spot only, go.
Jets.
No.
Browns.
I'm sorry. Maybe so. The defense is elite.
Browns.
Maybe so.
Bengals.
Yes.
Texans.
Maybe so.
Titans.
No.
Chargers.
Yes.
You're damn right, yes. I'd like you to say it with a little more conviction next time.
No. No. They've got Staley as coach, and no team has perfected losing with winning personnel and stats like the Chargers.
True, their coach is a moron.
Moron.
Raiders.
No. And I know they have a soft spot in the schedule coming up, and they could no.
Coach is also a moron.
Commanders.
If they had beaten the Bears, no.
Packers.
No.
Rams.
Maybe so.
Only 3 teams in the NFC are at that 2-3 mark. Washington, the Packers, and the Rams.
Well, Washington and the Packers both have young quarterbacks. Tough to bank on them. Jordan Love is not going to be the answer this year. I don't know if he's going to be the answer, but he ain't going to be the answer this year. Remember, Aaron Rodgers' first year playing, they went 6-10. So they signed him to a 2-year deal. Give them the 2 years. They're the youngest team in the league also. Okay, so they're going to need some time. I said no on the Raiders, Mark. There's a Devontae Jimmy G problem. This has got Brady Evans written all over it. When Brady would quickly look and Mike was still in his route and Brady would go elsewhere and Evans would turn and he'd be open and he'd be like, how come you're not throwing me the ball? The same thing happens. Devontae runs longer routes. Jimmy G likes to put that back foot in the ground and release it. And he looks and Devontae's still running his route. And he goes, okay, elsewhere. And then Devontae's open and he looks back and he goes, what the heck? I'm telling you, there's going to, what Evans and Brady, the disconnect, there's a Jimmy G Devontae disconnect. I just watched it for 3 hours. I don't think so for this reason. This was their big move. McDaniels and the GM, this was their thing. This is what they did. If they trade him a year and a third in, that's a total indictment to what they're doing. So let me get this straight. You got him to reunite him with Carr, okay, and not even a year and a half later, they're both gone? I mean, Mark Davis isn't the smartest guy in the world, and he's got some of the worst hair in the world. But even Mark Davis could go, what the heck are you two doing? So I think they hold on to him till the offseason, and then they trade him.
Because if he were available and I were the Dallas Cowboys, there's nothing I wouldn't give. CeeDee Lamb's good, but he's not great in my opinion.
Agreed. Listen, I've been saying it for Mike Evans for months that's who the Cowboys should have gotten. Okay, they should have got played at Texas A&M. He'd love to go back to Texas. The taxes are the same, so he's not losing any money. Okay, I mean, Mike Evans was at the A&M Alabama game. Okay, Mike likes going home. That's who they should have went out and got. The trade of Amari Cooper for a 5th-round pick 3 years ago is one that has come back to crush the Cowboys.
Absolutely.
Crush.
Think about the Cowboys if Amari Cooper were still on that team.
And I know he was making $20 million a year, and they said it was a salary thing. Well, quite frankly, you should have cut Van Der Esch or a couple of other guys who have gotten hurt all the time or not performed. You got rid of the wrong guy, dude. You just did.
Couldn't agree more.
Because that offense, even with Dak, and you're not a Dak guy, but Amari Cooper runs the best routes in the league, and CeeDee Lamb is a game breaker. Put them on the same offense? Whoo.
But they need someone that can get open automatically, and they don't have that guy in Dallas right now. They just don't have a quick route. I can get 7-8 yards at command. They don't have a tight end that does it. CeeDee Lamb's not getting open quickly enough.
Right. Think about 3 years ago. They had a Dalton Schultz-like guy at tight end, and they had Amari Cooper. Now they have neither. I mean, don't get me wrong. Dak may not be the answer, but he could use a little more around him too. I mean, here's a simple question. Who do you think has more around him, Baker or Dak? I mean, Dak's got Pollard, and the Bucs don't have a Pollard.
No, but the Bucs have a Godwin and an Evans.
Mm-hmm. And I think Rashad White is more valuable than what Brandon Cooks has done this year so far. Brandon Cooks sucks.
Is he on your fantasy team? Is that why you're
no?
Okay,
No.
I was just curious.
He's.
I cut him from mine.
He's been on the waiver wires since week 2.
Well, that's a guy they paid money to instead of keeping Amari Cooper.
Exactly.
Well, once again, that's Hall of Famer Jerry Jones, ladies and gentlemen. Jerry Jones. I'm sure it's just a coincidence that since he took over personnel, they haven't been to the NFC Championship game in 28 years. I'm sure that's just a coincidence.
But don't worry. He's got the right guys. Just let him do his radio appearance and tell you.
That's
He's
right.
done the right job. They're just not executing. It's not Jerry's fault. Whatever the problems may be, it's not on him. Miller and Moulton, trying to solve the problems of the NFL right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Located on the East Trail, locally owned Naples Tiki Bar and Grill is an outdoor eatery next to the Hitching Post Shopping Center. Island-inspired food with a true tiki theme. The best place in Naples to enjoy the beautiful weather in Southwest Florida. The Naples Tiki Bar and Grill offers a great menu for dine-in or takeout. Enjoy our famous pulled pork, huge burgers, and tiki cocktails. Don't miss happy hour every day from 3 to 6, and live music 7 days a week. See you soon at the Naples Tiki Bar and Grill, 11498 Tamiami Trail East.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
Hello, friends and family of Southwest Florida. Are you looking to tap into the electric vehicle market? Well, look no further, because we here at Southwest Florida Golf Carts have just what you need. E-bikes, golf carts, LSVs, scooters, and more. Come down and talk with one of our experienced sales reps, have a soda and a smile, and you could be cruising the streets in your new EV today. Stop by the store or visit our website at flgolfcarts.com and enter for a chance to win $100 off your next purchase by answering John's monthly sports question.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
That is precisely why you got to be monitoring his mic, because his mic just decides to go nuts at some points. I don't understand it.
This weekend, okay, we can come in and wash it. I'm just asking. Hey, I know. I understand what you've got. I don't know what's working, what's not. I don't know what's working. That's just cleaned out. Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you. Adam, you're crazy. Not going to win anything with that bum, Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is not a bum at all. Maybe. Wow. You should see him in person. Josh Jacobs can ball.
Adam, wrong Bama running back. Najee is kind of a bum, yeah.
Mark, you watch a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers by default. Najee, to me, seems like the type of guy, if he doesn't see the hole right away, he doesn't hit it hard.
And he's not seeing any holes, and he's not running at all. The other guy, Warren, he just runs.
Right. But like there were a couple of plays against the Ravens where there was an early hole and Najee hit the hell out of it. But otherwise, he kind of, I can't say this out loud, he runs a little like Franco did. When Franco didn't see a hole, he just ran on his tippy toes and fatutzed around. But those offensive lines opened up a lot of holes.
No, he looks slow.
That's because he's not, he doesn't see the hole, so he doesn't go at it at 100%.
How much of it is Matt Canada?
That's definitely some of it, a decent amount of it. But, once again, we wondered, they traded away 2 offensive linemen before setting the roster. And we're like, is that line that good that you can afford to trade away guys? And as run blocking, the answer is no.
I go down the occasional TikTok hole, which is way opposite of this conversation. I don't know, it's the listen to Coach, watching Cheers clips. And I forgot what his last name, Cheers. Can I speak to an Ernie whatever? Is there an Ernie whatever here? That's you, Coach. Speaking. I mean, that show was funny. And what a transition from him to Woody Harrelson.
Well, and then they had the transition from Shelley Long to Kirsty. I mean, the transitions they did were really good. I thought the original was the best.
Yes.
But the transitions were really good.
But they had to get rid of Diane because you had to spin the show in some direction.
Well, also, and she wanted to make movies.
Or just a lot more money. Think about what they used to pay actors per episode for TV that they'll never see again.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes after the hour. This is the Diamond District bonus hour. It's just us, man. Forget the network. It's just for the 239. Yeah, that's how we roll. Thanks to Todd and Jason. Good folks at the Diamond District.
Yeah, they're not happy with me right now, though.
You didn't give them a winner last night.
Gave them a loser.
Yep.
Had some inside info. Or so we thought.
Right. Yep. Here's my question. Did you take the heat like a man and say, hey, man, sorry about that? Or did you go, hey, man, I got that from so-and-so, blame him?
No, the text already said. The original text said, I don't give them my advice. They don't want my advice. But when Bud sent us a private note about the game last night, I said, hey, Bud Elliott, our college football guy, likes FIU.
Right.
UTEP's on their 4th-string QB.
Yeah. Turns out he must be pretty good. Turns out he's their Brock Purdy.
That's how it worked out.
Oh, well. So this will be the final week of Todd and Jason in the Diamond District supporting the bonus hour. We appreciate the run. All right. It was nice. Thank you.
Lee better have one of those 40-unit plays ready for me this week. That's all I know.
Got that right. We got a lot riding on Lee Sterling tomorrow, let me tell you.
Hey, I'm just curious, David. It's not that, to me, it's, I'm fine with whatever the Shriners Open wants to do with their exemptions. Lexi Thompson's playing today and tomorrow, at least, in the Shriners in Vegas. My only question is, did they pick the right LPGA player to put in? Would you have gone Rozang for your sponsor exemption ahead of Lexi? If you want to put an LPGA, I have no problem with it. It's a sponsor's exemption. It is not taking the spot of anybody who's trying to play in that tournament. Every tournament has X number of sponsors exemptions. They can pick whoever that they want. Sometimes they pick a local pro. Sometimes they pick a past winner who's no longer eligible for that tournament. So it didn't take a spot away from a Monday qualifier. So that argument's bunk. But I'm just asking you, did they pick the right lady?
Well, I would say yes in this respect. She's one of the longest hitters on the tour. And to have a chance of even remotely scoring playing a PGA course, you got to be long. But to me, the only one to pick is Korda. Lexi's had a horrible year. She had an excellent Solheim Cup. But Lexi's had a horrible year. But she's very popular. She's going to be at that the Naples event,
right?
What used to be the shootout, and she's very popular. But her length, Mark, gives her a chance to get to the par 4s and 2. Now her short game is a disaster, and she's not going to score on a PGA Tour course, even though it's not one of the harder ones. But whew. Korda, meanwhile. Listen, Tony Finau played a practice round with Korda and was like, holy blank, can she play? He all but said, she's better on her tour than I am on mine. That to me is the one. If you want to pick an American put in a PGA Tour event and say, hey, have a chance to make the cut, Nelly Korda to me would be the choice.
Okay, and that was the only question I had on it, because I have no issue at all with Lexi playing in it. I just wanted to know if you thought they picked the right LPGA Tour member to play in this event.
I'll say this. If she plays like she did at the Solheim Cup, she won't embarrass herself. She has really struggled this year. She was like 140 on the money list this year. That's how much of a rough year she's had. 21 in the world golf rankings and 140 on the money list. I don't know how you pull that off. But the world golf rankings got a lot of credibility these days.
They sure do, because they denied LIV again an opportunity to earn any points on the LIV Tour.
All right, let's be objective for a second, because I don't think, and you and I have been as open-minded to the LIV as anybody, I think, without being in the tank.
So much so that we've gotten crap for it from people.
Yes. But I don't think they deserve, the same points as a PGA tournament.
Hell no.
No. But I think they deserve half.
And that's where I would go. I wouldn't even go 3/4. I know they play 3 rounds versus the 4, but there are no cuts. There is no urgency on Friday to have to play well to get points on the weekend and to get money on the weekend. So I'm with you. Half would be fine. But if you dominate that tour, then you would have ranking points to play in other events, to play in a Ryder Cup.
But it's difficult for me because, Mark, I'm a goober. I actually watched some DP World Tour golf on a Saturday morning in a hotel room before leaving for the game.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. It's a character flaw. And it's not good. And it's not played on a lot of good courses either. I mean, and for the DP World Tour events to get whatever they're getting in the World Golf Ranking and the LIV to not get anything. I mean, forget the PGA Tour for a second. The Asian Tour, I mean, the South African Tour, they're all getting World Golf Ranking points. I mean, seriously? This isn't worth anything? Come on. And you listen, when John Rahm, who's been ranked number 1 in the world a few times and has been in the top 3 for the last 3 years, when John Rahm comes out and goes, yeah, the World Golf Ranking's kind of a joke. Hello? Maybe you're doing something wrong. And what I'm wondering, Mark, is now, some of these LIV guys were hoping for retroactive points and what have you. You're going to force some majors, particularly like the Masters. I mean, there are going to be some guys now who don't qualify.
Absolutely.
And if you're the Masters, remember, it's an invitation. You can invite anyone.
Right, but they've established their forum for how they invite. They would have to change their regulations and their rules for whom they invite. They would almost have to have a sponsor's exemption for live guys.
Well, but they have those who automatically qualify by their standards, but then they can extend. I mean, they do it to amateurs all the time.
The amateurs have to win certain events to qualify. Every spot in the Masters has a qualification status to it, one of which is a past champion. Win on tour, top 50, top 30 in the, making the tour championship.
Right.
But the amateurs all win either the U.S. Amateur, the Mid-Am, or I think the British Am champ gets in.
But if you win 3 events on the LIV Tour.
Bupkas right now.
Bupkis, right. Zip, zilch, nada. Got it. Just wanted to make sure. Just wanted to know what Taylor Gooch is going to be doing that first full week in April.
Who cares what Taylor Gooch doing? Taylor Swift's going to be at the football game tonight.
See, now you're talking. Okay. And you're leading me right to Harry and Meghan at the, this is the direction I want the show to go, Mark.
It's American royalty.
Thank you. You talking about Harry and Meghan, or are you talking about Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift.
Gotcha. Just making sure. TMZ says she's going to be at the game, ladies and gentlemen.
And if they report it, it's got to be true.
Because they're paying for the information. They're like Kansas basketball. They're paying for their stuff. Did you see, by the way, they got away with it? Oklahoma State was ineligible for the tournament for a year. Kansas lost a year's worth of games, though. Apparently, they have to take a Final Four banner down from 5 years ago. And Bill Self loses the wins. Oh, that'll really punish him.
But no show cause, no penalties.
Oh, no. He was up for like 2 level 1 violations. They found him guilty of 1 level 3 violation, which is essentially parking or jaywalking. It's laughable. What you fight the NCAA to your death right now. You don't give them anything. They're event planners. Kansas realized that before most everyone else.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
When choosing something of high value and personal significance, such as a diamond, you want to make sure you're shopping with the best. And the best when it comes to GIA certified diamonds and diamond jewelry is not online. It's not in the malls. And it's not with any of the new pop-up jewelry stores trying to make a go of it here in Southwest Florida. The best place to buy diamonds is with my friends Jason and Todd at the Diamond District, who have made Southwest Florida their home for over 20 years now. The largest selection of GIA certified diamonds is with the Diamond District. The only place you'll find diamonds 8 to 10% over cost is with the Diamond District. America's top bridal designers have chosen the Diamond District to represent their engagement rings exclusively in Southwest Florida. Simply put, the best selection, experience, and best prices are with Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI, personal injury, nursing home claims, and auto accidents. I'm a former prosecutor with over 34 years of experience. The information I know is information you need to know. If you've been arrested for a DUI, time is of the essence to maintain your driving privileges. Call the law firm of Michael F. Hornung for a free consultation. At the law firm of Michael F. Hornung, we are committed to excellence in your representation. Being a local attorney with local knowledge is clutch to the success of your case. For over 30 years, we have successfully represented the citizens of Southwest Florida. For a free consultation, call 239-437-0095. That's 239-437-0095. Our offices are conveniently located in Fort Myers. Visit online at mfh-law.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
The Giants are signing Carson Wentz to their practice squad.
Whoa! Oh my God.
Well, it just tells you Daniel Jones isn't playing this week.
Well, it tells you he may not be playing for a while, actually.
I mean, it's a re-aggravated neck injury, no?
Yeah, the one he had surgery on.
Mm-hmm. That's not good.
Because this just in, you have one neck.
That's Peyton Manning.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I laughed. I saw something last night where I was like, it was a tweet. Someone tweeted the Orioles playoff run in a nutshell, and it was the video of Aaron Rodgers running out with the American flag.
Oh, geez.
That was good.
That is.
By the way, the Phillies are serving something called a Schwarberger. That is a half-pound patty with barbecue brisket, cheese, bacon, and 3 giant onion rings, all stacked on top. Like, how do you eat that? How do you approach that?
I think they should have the bat boy, if he homers, greet him at home plate with it. Here you go.
Your Schwarberger.
You're obviously too young for this, but this group of guys on the Phillies, they came out of nowhere in '93 and went to the World Series. And it was a bunch of a few guys on steroids, but it was Dykstra, Dalton, Kruk, long hair. Okay. They didn't shave. Okay. Schilling, Mitch Williams. I mean, it was a fun team. 1-year wonders. But this
Who did they lose to?
They lost to Toronto, Joe Carter.
That's right.
But they were fun.
This year's Phillies team, this is like America's team, honestly. I mean, all the best players are American.
Except Rio Muto, right?
No, he's American.
He is? Okay.
Yeah. He was the catcher on the...
Oh, that's right.
The
World Baseball Classic, yeah.
And then, of course, Trey Turner, Captain America himself. And then it's every time Bryce Harper he slides into second, he's sliding home, he's taking off the helmet, the hair with the America bandana. I mean, it's America's team.
Mark, when they homer, they're just going to play Lee Greenwood.
They're hitting them.
Casio would be watching nonstop.
Oh, he'd become the biggest Phillies fan in the country. In fact, you should text him that right now. I want to put me in on that text because I want his response. I don't want that going direct. That needs to be in the Casio Miller Moulton text ring there.
All right, I'm going to do that.
By the way, you guys noticed the 2 fans standing on the roof after that first home run, right? Did you see that?
No.
So when he hits the home run to right
Castellanos?
field. No. Harper.
Oh, Harper's first home run. Okay.
Yeah. There's two fans standing on the roof in right field. That reminded me of like 1980s, 1990s sports. Here we go.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Now, this is officially the home stretch. I mean, it's like the last segment. This is it. 22 minutes, top of the hour, 16 till we're out of here. Lee Sterling makes his picks tomorrow. We make ours. By the way, Mark Miller 4-1 last week. That's 4 out of 5 winning weeks. By the way, I went 500, so I'm 3-0-1 on winning weeks in the last 4 weeks. This is not bad, Miller and Moulton making picks. Just saying.
Or you could watch Game Day and let Stanford Steve make your picks for you because he's about 10 games under 500 so far.
Yeah, he's terrible. Nice guy.
Awful.
He was starting off making 6 picks. They've already reduced him to, 3, 4?
Yeah, it's
not good.
And that shows, I think, they tightened it up with McAfee on there. And I think it's a little tighter. I think you're going to see the pick segment go right off that show.
Oh, I don't know. Didn't they just buy this the betting company?
With him, that's a bad segment. He's not good on TV.
Well, they may replace him, but I don't think they'll replace the betting segment.
It is interesting. We put our numbers up each week.
Mm-hmm.
You can document us week by week. You can document Lee week by week. It's one of the things that was very important to me when David and I started, that there's transparency. If we're picking awful, if our handicapper's picking awful, we've got to let you know that.
Right.
4-Letter Network just has people pick games and never, ever tracks what they do. Ever.
Don't worry, though. Somebody out there is keeping track. Don't you kid yourself.
Carson Wentz just signed a practice squad deal with your Giants, David.
Really?
That's what I got on X, or Twix, as we like to call it on this show.
I thought he was hunting like elk in Montana. How'd they get a hold of him?
No idea, but I thought I saw that on good old Twix. That means that Daniel Jones might be a little banged up, David.
Well, and it's a re-aggravation of the neck injury that required surgery a couple of years ago. No big deal or anything. And Tyrod Taylor was in there for about 8 snaps and nearly got put in the hospital. So has Wentz seen them play? I mean, I know he's desperate for a job, but, hey, Carson, I got good news and bad news. Oh, really, agent? What? Well, good news is the team wants to sign you. Great, I'm ready to go. Yeah, it's the Giants. I am playing behind that line. You serious?
Don't get me killed.
Right. I mean, no, man, I'm good. I'm going hunting. Now, hold on a second. Are they intending on me to play? Or can I just, put the ball cap on and they're like, no, we'll start with the practice squad and only in case of emergency. Oh, well, okay, then yeah, I'll sign. Sure. Right. Give me Tyrod Taylor's number, okay? I got to make sure he's okay. He's got to play these next couple of weeks.
Right.
Man, Tyrod, you healthy? All right, way to go, buddy. No, I'll be there to support you. Absolutely. You're looking good, man. You need more of an opportunity to play.
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Who knew that today in 1609 would be such a big day for hockey fans across the world? Because it was today that the children's rhyme Three Blind Mice is published in London in 1609. Do you know that when I worked for the Everblades, we were not allowed by league rule to play the tune of Three Blind Mice when the referees came out onto the ice? It was illegal by rules.
So who did it to cause that rule to be put into effect?
Everybody. Today in 1901, Roosevelt renames the executive mansion as the White House.
Yeah. Imagine that. Was it like one of his kids who did it? You know, kind of like how the Super Bowl became to be? You know, Lamar Hunt's kid, you know, is credited with that. You know, we're going home, honey. Oh, you mean the White House? Oh, it's not a bad idea.
I think I'll rename that. 1933, Alcatraz becomes a federal prison. Today in 1944, they called it the Columbus Day Riot as 30,000 fans descend on Times Square for Sinatra's performance at the Paramount Theater. The capacity for the theater is 3,500. 30,000 fans showed up to see old Blue Eyes.
Wow. There's Fire Marshal Night, and then there's damn.
Today in 1963, the first and only Latino All-Star game was held at the Polo Grounds in New York City. National League won 5-2 over the American League. In 67, Lou Brock steals a World Series record 7 bases as the Cardinals beat the Red Sox 7-2 for a 4-3 series win. The MVP would be Bob Gibson.
Won all 3 games in the series, just like he did in 64.
Today in 68, the Summer Games opened in Mexico City. You know, you can actually, proving here, that you can hold the Summer Games when it's not so hot in some of these places.
Right.
But that was before NBC ran the Olympics. So
Right.
you couldn't
Let's see.
do it across from football.
Right. ABC had it in 68. I think CBS had 1960. I think CBS had Squaw Valley. And then I think ABC took over the Olympics beginning in 64.
David, today in 71, Jesus Christ Superstar opens in New York City for its first of 711 performances.
Didn't see it on Broadway, saw it off Broadway, and then was part of high school drama. I mean, we always did Jesus Christ Superstar.
Were you ever Judas?
I was not. Thanks.
No, but that's the big role.
I know.
For those who've seen it, that's one of the more powerful roles. That was all. I was asking if you were the star of the damn thing.
No, it was tough for me to be the star. As I got older, I didn't have a good enough singing voice. Okay. I was a good enough actor to get lead roles, but I wasn't a good enough singer oftentimes in musicals to get the lead. If we're being brutally honest here. Like 3rd grade, Mark, I was Sandy Davis Jr. I was the Candyman. I was good enough in 3rd grade. You know, by high school,
but that voice changed, got a little deeper.
Couldn't pull it off. Right.
Fair enough. 1973, Nixon nominates Ford to replace Spiro Agnew as vice president. Starting the greatest run of anyone in American political history. Gerald Ford goes right to presidency without being elected for a damn thing.
That's right.
Today in 79, basketball forever changed. 1, Chris Ford scores the first 3-point basket in NBA history of the first quarter of the Houston Celtics game. But that was the debut of Larry Bird.
Correct.
Later that evening, Magic would make his debut for the Lakers against the San Diego Clippers.
Yes.
Felipe, do you know the famous part of that game?
Right. Kareem hits a game winner. Magic celebrates like it's a championship. Kareem's like, what is this kid doing? It was just regular season.
Kareem is literally saying, get off me. We have 81 more of these.
Relax.
Today in 82, Paul Molitor gets a World Series record 5 hits. 87. George Harrison releases Got My Mind Set on You. It would be his 3rd number 1 hit, the last chart topper of any of the Beatles. And a terrible, terrible day in 87 as the Minnesota Twins defeat the Tigers 9-5 in Game 5 at Tiger Stadium to win the series 4-1.
Oh, no. There it is. Mark's disdain for the Minnesota Twins.
89. Herschel is traded from the Cowboys to the Vikings for 5 players and 6 future draft picks.
Wow, that seems like a lot.
Really does.
Like, first time he touched the ball with the Vikings, too, he took it to the house. Went like 70 yards. They were going crazy. They're finally going to win the Super Bowl. This is the missing piece.
Today in 92, Art Monk sent an NFL record with his 820th reception. Seems kind of funny now. 2016, Austin Matthews becomes the first player to score 4 goals in its NHL debut as he did so when the Leafs took on Ottawa. Those born today that are no longer with us: Pavarotti, wrestler Dusty Rhodes, and Smithereens lead singer Pat D'Annunzio. The first 2 on this birthdays are specifically for David. Ned Jarrett's 91 today.
Yep. Still with us. Yep.
And Tony Kubek's 87.
And you know what? There are a lot of racing and baseball fans that would love for them to go into the booth.
Hugh Jackman and Leon Lett are both 55 today. Charlie Ward and Kirk Cameron are each 53. Marion Jones is 48 and Bodie Miller's 46. What did I miss, David?
Well, I've got Columbus reaching the New World today in 1492. It was the Bahamas.
The Bahamas.
Just saying. Some people gave him credit for that. Just saying. It's kind of like an appetizer. That was calamari.
He hit an island.
Right. Exactly.
He didn't find a new land yet.
By the way, I don't want to say that maybe he was, lost, but he thought he hit East Asia.
Right.
Right. He hit the Bahamas. Just a bit outside. Robert E. Lee died today in 1870. Thought that would be worth mentioning, considering that many people listening right now are listening in Lee County. John Denver died. Plane crash 26 years ago today. And I don't want to say that some people don't value the Nobel Prize and say maybe it's jumped the shark or anything, but Al Gore won his Nobel Prize for an Inconvenient Truth 16 years ago today. It was for an inconvenient truth, which really does cover a lot of subject matters when you think about it. That's all I got, Mark.
Shout out Shane Larkin. It's his birthday today. He's 29. One of the great players in Miami Hurricanes basketball history. Led the Canes to their first ACC championship in history 10 years ago.
Shane Larkin was the guy that when FGCU went to the Sweet 16, Shane Larkin publicly said, I told y'all they were good and you made fun of us because FGCU beat Miami that year. Miami goes on to win the ACC and go to the Sweet 16. Felipe, greatest line ever from a coach. Okay, Roy Williams. North Carolina went to Miami late in the season and got drilled by the Canes.
Drilled.
Yes, I remember that.
Lost by 30. He's looking at the stats sheet, and before he gets asked a question, he goes, these guys lost to FGCU by 12? Man, Florida Gulf Coast must be good. And a month later, they're in the Sweet 16.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to California for the good, not because that jerk won the Powerball. but because Riverside County Animal Services found a cat. They scanned the cat for a microchip. It had one. They reunited it with its family 12 years after the cat was reported missing.
Whoa!
Right. Butters is back with his family. Relocated to Stanwood, Washington. They had moved from their San Diego home in 2011, reunited with their cat 12 years later. Pretty cool. For the bad, we go to New York State, where a Brooklyn man was driving 3 hours upstate. While driving, the rat that was under his hood crawled out on top of the hood.
Wow.
He has video, dash cam video of the rat crawling out onto the hood of the car. I would be locking the brakes up immediately and praying that that thing flung forward.
Man.
Finally, the ugly. We go to the Tampa area, where Kaylee Robinson is a 28-year-old that lives in a mobile home park. And there's a man that lives in the mobile home park that apparently would always speak to her while she was walking her dog. She didn't like it. So after she picked up the dog do with the bag, she pushed it into the man's face.
Whoa.
She is now facing a felony charge of battery on a victim 65 years or older after pushing the dog poo into Daniel Powell's face. That, David, is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, October the 12th, 2023.
Obviously, Thursday Night Football on Amazon tonight at 8. Game 4, Phillies and Braves at 8 as well. Panthers get their season underway tonight in Minnesota. There's college football as well. We'll talk tomorrow.
The law firm of Michael F. Hornung specializes in criminal defense, DUI,